Peace and paradise to all American Aborigines, aka the First Americans. Chief Holidays in the building. The truth is here. Hey, we got Todd Datos. What's up, bro?
What up? What up? What up? We going in tonight, y'all. We going in.
What it do, man? Hey, so right before we get into this thing, right? We're gonna rap a taste, right? We're gonna rap a taste, and I want to ask you a question, brother. Have you ever heard of Michael Cremo before?
I heard of him online from
the
indigenous community. Other than that, I never heard of him. I believe you and the Consciousness ones was probably the only person I ever heard say his name.
And a lot of people do not know about this guy. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that they keep, you know, they have been doing their best throughout the years to keep his information from getting out as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into that tonight. Shout out to Michael Cremo. Shout out to the Thompson's one. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the thing, right? I asked a question earlier today. I think it was on Tribal News, or maybe we went earlier. But what were scientists teaching before Darwin and the theory of evolution? That's the late 1800s. So what were they teaching before that? What was going on? And you know, what would prompt Darwin to come up with this situation, right? So we gotta talk about it.
Hold on one second. We got Auntie, the original Copper Empress Hopperton, first in the building. What's up, Empress Auntie? Auntie little chat out there. You ain't know. Y'all don't want that. Then we got Oak Cliff Tiff in the building, MJ Jones in the building, Black Indian. What's up, fam? I'll be hitting you up tomorrow. Absolutely. IMU. What's up, IMU in the building? What's up? We going in tonight. We getting back. Yeah. Oh, General Z in the building, reporting for duty, sir.
Henny Wastay. Salute. Yeah, all the great, assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, shalom. Yeah.
Harigato.
Man.
Ni hao.
Yeah, everybody. Hey, I'll be right back, Ty. Hold on a second.
Shit. What else? We got Sabahi, Portuguese. Right. Yeah, we going in. You know what I'm saying? Also, want to let y'all know this segment is brought to you by The Evolution of Conscience, Matrix 4, Cracking the Code, Sophia Stewart. Sophia Stewart books in stores. Her website is the truth about matrix.com. I'm gonna try to bring that up right now. Truthaboutmatrix.com. You can go there, check her stuff out. You know, great sister. You know, good. And also, I want to talk a little bit about, I guess while we're here, we could talk a little bit about, you know, we're gonna be going in a little later. We're gonna be going in deep, and so I also want to say, shout out to the 5,000 Elite. Y'all know we still got the 5,000 Elite. The link is in there. That's still going. We updating the site, so things is looking a little bit different. So please hold your horses. We still trying. We still doing what we need to do. Also, we don't have a super chat, but we found out a way to get free money through the Cash App. The link is at the top. If you scroll all the way to the top, if you go to there and download yourself a Cash App, and make yourself a Cash App, and I believe you have to spend $5, and they will give you $5. So if you send me $5, they will give you your $5 back, and I will receive $5. So I will get $10. So it would be free money. So
how does it work?
Yeah, well, that's what. Because Auntie had made one, and I didn't get $5. So I believe you have to send the first time you use it, they send $5. So if you can click on it,
so you just gotta use it. You just gotta use it. You don't
use
have
it.
to necessarily send you the $5 or me the $5. You just gotta use it.
Right.
You gotta set it up.
Yeah. Let me set that straight. Yeah. You don't have to send me $5, but whenever you use it, you know what I'm saying. Whenever you use it, it will give me $5, and it will give you an extra $5. So it's a Cash App. We haven't done no hardcore investigation on it yet, but it's been around for a long time. A lot of people know about it. A lot of people use it. It's not my app. I don't control the credit card or anything like that. I don't own it or hack it or anything. It's another sources. But it's another.
It's pretty safe though. Cash App's pretty safe, y'all. It's so do your research on it, but yeah,
right. It's pretty safe,
it's just,
and they giving out $5.
Yeah, for referral. So when you set up yours, then you'll have a referral code automatically, and then you send it out, email it out,
right,
text it out, whatever.
Right.
And they'll even send you a card.
Yeah, they'll send you a card too, but you have to use it in order to get paid. So that's why I was saying if you sent me $5, you don't have to, but I'm just saying that just because we don't have a super chat. So if you wanted to send a couple dollars, you don't need to send no more than $5. Don't be sending no $100 and shit. I'm gonna refund you. Well, I'm gonna take something out. I'm gonna take something out first, and then I'm gonna refund you. So you ain't gotta be sending no $100 and no shit like that. Just if you want to support, either the best thing to do, join the 5,000 Elite. Call us up, figure out what you can offer. If you do cartoons, maybe you do funny voices or you beatbox or some shit, that'll help out. Liking, sharing, nice little comments every now and then. Come on the platform, bless the platform. That's always good support. Y'all know y'all can come to the meetings, Saturday morning, 12 o'clock Eastern time. That's also showing support. Helping us on our social media, because we lagging on social media, man. We some old ass dudes, man. We just social media. We lagging on all the Facebook and Twitter. That shit's a full-time job. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep up with that. So anybody that can help in social media, that's another way to help. Or the last thing you can do, if you're just too busy, you can download the Cash App, send $5, get $5, and I'll get $10. Right, some paid interns, some people that want to. They coming, they coming. I got people hitting us up. So keep doing that. So it's more than one way, to show the support. Your money is not like the holy grail, because I definitely take somebody who can help work a computer or some shit over some money any day. You know what I'm saying? We'll take some help or some journalists or some shit like that over a couple dollars any day. So, but that's just what we got right now, and it's free money. So you send me $5, they're going to give you those $5 back, and I'm going to get $10. So if we can get 10 people to do that, I can get $100 a day for free. So thank you, YouTube, for being so goddamn grimy. And now we beat you once again. We beat you once again. So next time. But go ahead.
Yo, I want to, like I said, we want to, before we get into this thing, man, we want to break down who Michael Cremo is, So we have his bio, things of that nature, and what they have on him in Wikipedia. Um, and you should always don't just take our word for things. You should always look things up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So just so we get to know this guy, before we get there. You want me to look? You want me to go read it?
What are we reading?
His Wikipedia.
Okay, hold on one second. You can start it. I'll chime in a second. I'm finna change something real quick.
All right, hold on. Let me find this.
Let me see. Hold on one second. I'm
emailed.
Upload something really quick. So this book that I'm about to show, so I'm also gonna interview Chief, on this as well, and some of the claims and stuff like that. So, on some of the claims, and I got some questions I'm gonna be asking Chief, and because we get some little more insight on where a lot of this stuff comes from, and how much time and work put into a lot of these claims, because sometimes it just seems like just a bunch of guys just making claims and making stuff. They ain't doing no reading, no writing, and that's the type of image people want. This is the type of image people want you to have of us. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? You have the image that we just them just a bunch of conspiracy theorists, and they don't that's just what the monkeys do. And so now when we go back to the books and go back to the actual claims and the digging sites and things like that, it's a little hard for people to make a Chief Holiday's claim. Chief said this and Chief said that, but they make it seem like Chief the one that did the dig and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
like Chief is out there with a fucking paintbrush and the chisel and shit. They
don't know if I was. They don't know if I wasn't.
Right.
How about that? Hey, but check this out though. You need to go take that up with these geologists and archaeologists. That's what you need to do. But right. Michael A. Cremo, right? Born July 15th, 1948. Also known by his devotional name. It's some Drachamar Dasa, right? That's like some Buddha stuff, right? So is an American freelance researcher who identifies himself as a Vedic creationist or Buddha stuff, right? And an alternative archaeologist, in quotes, okay? And argues that humans live on Earth for millions of years. In case of artifacts allegedly found in the Eocene, that's Eocene, right? Look it up.
Hold on, where you at? Where you at?
I'm in this.
Just keep going. I know, but I was trying to go ahead. You go and I'll find you.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get back to it. It says, in case of artifacts allegedly found in Eocene orifice, and that's AURILEROUS, gravels of Table Mountain, California, and discussed in his book Forbidden Archaeology, Cremo argued for the existence of modern man on Earth as long as 30 to 40 million years ago. Forbidden Archaeology, which he wrote with Richard L. Thompson, has attracted attention from mainstream scholars who have criticized the views given on archaeology and described it as pseudo-scientific. Okay? All right, so he was born in New York. He now lives in LA. Editor, you can go to www.mcremo.com. Cremo was born, his father, Salvatore Cremo, was a United States military intelligence officer. Okay, Cremo lived with his family in Germany, where he went to high school. So he went to high school in Germany. They spent several summers traveling through Europe. So he lived home. He attended George Washington University from 1966 to 68, then served in the United States Navy. So he was in the Navy, okay? Yeah, man. Cremo's central claim forbidden archaeology is that humans have lived on Earth for tens to hundreds of millions of years, and that the scientific establishment has suppressed the fossil evidence of extreme human antiquity. In case of grooved spears from Pyrophylite, yeah, mines of Otasso, South Africa, Cremo proposes that they might be man-made artifacts as much as 2.8 billion years old. Forbidden archaeology has been criticized by mainstream scholars for a variety of disciplines. Okay, and it goes.
Okay, so do he have a theory? Do he have a theory of his own, or he just find random evidence or whatever? Evidence archaeology.
He's a researcher that research archaeologists and geologists and just different things, different curriculums, right?
Right.
So those questions are going to be answered in the video, right?
Right.
Because I don't want to answer it for him. You know what I mean? I want him to answer it.
So
I think
by you reading this book and seeing his interviews, do you get the feeling that he's trying to go against the grain, or do you think he was just trying to do something and found so much shit against the grain that he just like, man, this is it. I can't do it no more. I can't believe this shit no more.
Well, I mean, he's not the only one though. It's so many more archaeologists, or just I got to tell the truth. They can't lie about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spoil it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much stuff that they're suppressing. So you just have to be a part of that program. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, they know it. It's not like they don't know. Everybody knows this. This is not a little secret.
Okay.
Everybody knows this.
I got a question also. It's this ISK Con community journalist. What is that? The International Social of what's that? Grahana Consciousness. That's the institute, I guess, that he have loyalty to. What is that? Is that a Hindu group, or what is that?
Yeah, that's what Cremo is a member of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. He's a Buddhist.
No, that's not Buddhist.
Huh?
That's Hindu.
Krishna?
Yeah, that's Hindu.
Hindu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like Hindu. He written several books and articles about Hindu spirituality under the name. Here's the name right here. It's what it's here. Hold on 1 second. I'll drop it in the chat room. Let's check it out so we can we could check him out just like we check everybody else out. You know what I'm saying? Who's the master teachers and all that shit too. But that's it right there. I don't know if you guys can say that with an A with the line on top and all that shit. Let me see. He also been a contributor, editor of the magazine Back to Godhead. So I'm gonna drop that in the chat. So he has like a Hindu background. So he don't have the total the 100% textbook American background. So the frat boy background with the spanking on a spoon, and he did this and did, you know what I'm saying? So his background is a little bit different. So
now keep in mind, forbidden archaeology first edition came out in 1993.
Right.
By him and Richard L. Thompson, right?
Right.
So
Cremo told
that hidden history of
the cushion in 1970 after receiving a copy of the. Okay, so obviously it said he received a copy of this book Bangladesh at a Grateful Dead concert. So apparently when he was younger, he used to listen to rock and roll just like everybody else at the end of the 90s into the paper. Okay, so this institute, what's the deal with this institute? What's the background on this institute? Because is this something in India, or is this something people gonna be like, oh man, they own slaves and all of what's the deal on that? Because you know how the game go. You say somebody's name and his name is just not powerful enough. His name, his organization, and whatever bullshit surrounding him is all all matters in the YouTube world. So let me see. International Social Customer Consciousness.
I know one thing, that these people are peaceful.
Right, harmful, yup. And Guyana Hindu religion organization founded in 1966, New York City by A.C. Oh, this who's the founder? Because if this is the founder, if this motherfucker go to some weird ass founder, but these all foreigners and they're all peaceful ass people. So there's no motherfucking chicken eaters or no weird ass shit so far. So that's the founder of the organization that he was in, known as Father Guyana's Spirituality Master, and his core benefits. It says on the basis, select Hindu spirituality practice by the in Peru. Okay, those are people that practice it. Has headed since the 15th centuries. American and Europeans convert since the early 1900s in North America, the West Virginia. Okay, so he got more of a Hindu background, stuff like that. I don't really see too many controversies. No Charles Manson, no Adolf Hitler, or no fucking what you call that shit? What you call it when they try to exterminate you? I know you use that word a lot.
Hey Ty.
Yeah.
So keep in mind now, he's been a Krishna since 1970. Check.
Right.
So that means he's dedicated.
Right.
Check.
Right.
The brother's dead.
Right.
Okay,
so that's his religion of choice. So if Krishna, trying to, what I'm saying, so it drew him to something. So he was a guy at a Grateful Dead concert. So he was a hippie, and somebody gave him a book, and he went for it. So it wasn't like he was like, got this long Hindu background where his father was a king who cut off somebody's head, and because motherfuckers go in, they found something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but see,
I don't care about it. What he do in his personal life. We ain't talking about none of that. We're just trying to get a background on his mindset.
Oh, this mindset, right? His mindset. So, right.
Why he feels the way he feels, and if you understand the cosmology of these people, you know what I'm saying, they get into the billions, and we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, yup. They have countries on countries on countries, yup. And but so far, what eugenics you call it? So far, no eugenics or none of that shit, huh?
They get into the billions of years, bro, when it comes to their cosmology. So. Do you get the hint that he was purposely going against the grain, or do you think the hint he being in a more of a uncommon religion on this country, and you think that put him in the asset like these motherfuckers is lying? Like I know this, you know what I'm saying? Like I know they lying, and he went to go look for lies, or do you think he just went to go look and found lies? That's a big to me that's a big difference. I would like to think that he's naval intelligence, or at least was.
Okay.
Y'all follow me?
So he knew some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
But you don't get in the Navy unless you smart. So the dude's smart. Let's be clear. He's smart.
oh, somebody just
And
text me. Oh, somebody just text me. We getting it. Means the KKK found it. No. That's not Christian. It's not Christian. No. Hold on. Somebody said Christian. Nope. We're not talking Christian. Hold on. We gotta pronounce that word right because people think we're talking about Christian. Let me see. But can you find it? Cause I switched pages.
huh?
The name. I think you said Christian. It started with the
Krishna.
K. What's the name of
Krishna.
the?
Yeah.
What is it?
Krishna.
Let me see. Kushn. Yeah, this was founded in India somewhere. Like the KKK wasn't even like.
Krishna. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Hold on
KKK?
one second. Hold on. I'm gonna give you the institute right here. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. Just the institute right here. You could drop it in the chat because So that's the organization right there that he became a member of. So now we get a little background on him. Where he from? He from New York? No, it was founded in New York. But where he from?
He from New York.
Oh, so he from New York too. And so some kind of way he got into this I guess the spirituality, and it kind of led him to or some shit. Excuse me for the cussing, sorry about that. Education. Let me see. Religious studies. Let me see his religious studies real quick, because I know that's a big deal in the politic world. Okay, alternative known as studies of religion.
Talking about his religious studies right now, bro.
Is it archaic found devoted to research into religious behaviors and institutions? If described, compared, interrupted. Yeah. So it doesn't say. Now let's say spirituality. Oh no, that's the definition. Never mind. That's just a definition. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. My bad.
When you're talking about, that's his religion, bro. That's his spirituality.
Right.
But,
It was right.
But here's the thing though. So I feel like we should go ahead and get into this video, y'all. Shit's deep, but here's all I'm saying is, right, that let's don't take nothing from this video or anything I'm saying. This hopefully this makes you want to dig deeper and look into some other things and don't just accept what was being
told
given to us.
Right.
Like, come on, like I mean, don't accept everything for scrutiny, everything, and that's what we're gonna do right here. So anything that he says that I feel that's wrong, I'm gonna stand on it and I'm gonna say something about it. And that's anybody.
Right. So we here to critique him. We here to critique him, and we here to critique his work, just like we do everybody else's. Just like we do everybody else's. We talk about their master teachers. We talk about their institutions. We talk about if they name got a extra T in it, motherfuckers bring that out. I mean, we getting their mamas and sisters. I mean, we be going in on the Pan African stuff. You swear to God, I done heard some shit.
But I've been out here. Oh, there's a white guy. I'm gonna be like, what is that?
Yeah. That's part of it. Hey.
Oh, I gotta say this though, right?
Hey.
Now, if you accept any dates, then you gotta accept dates, right? Let's throw all the dates away, right? But if you accept any dates, then you gotta accept the dates too. We can't just accept your date. That's fair. That's how that works.
Right.
How is that fair? So we only can accept your date, but we can't accept my date.
Cheating and shit.
Think about it. Think about how that works. You can say it whatever million years, and we can't say nothing. So we can't come up with no geology, archaeology, we can't come up with nothing, right? Only theirs. So I just keep that back in your mind. Yeah, so we're gonna get into it tonight. You're gonna learn today.
Yep. And so let me get a shout out to the chat room. We got Seeker of Truth up in there. How you doing? We got Miss.
Peace.
Let me see who else we got. Let me see. We got Librason, First American Heroes in the building. All time flat power. Ram Richard in the building. Brandon Rogers. No, we ain't seen the video yet, and we also got James Gilmore in the building. What up?
I've seen the video several times, so
no, he just released it. Oh, you was just watching it?
What are you talking about?
Dame video. James just dropped the video a couple seconds ago.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about Cremo's
missing
video.
somebody.
About to watch. Shout out to Dan Calloway.
Oh, okay. Who else we got? I'm saying like, oh yeah. Here we go. What up? Is that Dequan Spellman? Oh no, that's not. No, that's not.
Peace to the tribe, man. Thank everybody for coming out. We definitely appreciate y'all. We're gonna get into this business, man. You know, we in business of bringing information. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, we can switch gears. We can do different things. We could do a lot of different things at the same time, and we don't always have to do one thing. So you know, I feel like
I just fucked his name up.
If I can learn something, then anybody can learn something from it. You know what I'm saying? So, and it makes me just want to dig deeper. So when I first started hearing about forbidden archaeology, you know what I'm saying, and all this shit, like I was still in the African mindset. So I was just like, yo, these are just Africans. So y'all understand where I came from. You know what I'm saying? I had been indoctrinated into the African thing, so the whole world was Africa to me. Then I graduated to El Cabalon and all, you know, Tamaray and all these other things. You know what I mean? So I had graduated, so it was easy transition for me. Y'all, like, here's the truth. Like, just to speak on it. We can't be mad about it.
Hold on 1 second. We got Miss Lit in the building. I thought you was the was the one lady for a second. I was finna call you Miss Legit, so I had to stop myself. 5484 Davis in the building, and I think I fucked up the other brother's name. Was Darkwai Speller. That's the actual name. What up, brother? What up with you? But for some reason, every time I see that, I call you Miss Legit, and I had to stop myself. So my bad. But anybody else out there, y'all wanna come out, man? We finna get into it. So anybody got any questions on this? Michael Cremo. Anybody got any questions? I'm pretty sure he's a pervert. Bob Mackin, what up? And I don't know. Let us see his work, man. Let the work speak for itself. But we gotta, go through him just like we go through all the other master teachers. But it seems like, man, as soon as we go to Chief Holiday just laughing shit. Soon we go through one or two master teachers, it seems like we get the scandal. You know what I'm saying? So y'all vet this guy, man. Check out this guy. See what y'all can come up with, man. It's rarely you can find somebody, in the mainstream, or somebody, who got some respectable work that don't have something, you know what I'm saying, that there's a group of people out there that has something to say. Oh yeah, man, that's the guy who he was with, he helped fucking, what's the guy name who got Bernie Madoff and shit. He was Bernie Madoff's cousin, and I mean, like, it's always some bullshit. So definitely check the guy out. And now I have some questions for Chief, because Chief's read the book. The book is a little bit old. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't got the book yet, but I believe it's still on Amazon. but a lot of the claims, and stuff like that is some of the books, and he called it forbidding archaeology. Now, first thing I want to know is why he called it that name. Is he looking for controversy, or is he trying to drop some jewels? Because when you selling, what he's trying to do with that title? He trying to do some clickbait, or he's trying to drop jewels on the slide, But that forbidden archaeology, you have to be able to think about that. Like, first thing I'm thinking, okay, this guy's a businessman. He's trying to do some clickbait. And then I'm thinking like, okay, well maybe he got some, maybe he's trying to tell us something. So I'm going into it with mixed feelings, with an open eye, expecting to see something, that's just out of the ordinary. But Chief read the book, and I wanted to know what was, what frame of life you was in when you read the book, Chief. Was you younger, older, like, was you out there bad still, or was you just, laid back, like?
Yeah, I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Yeah, like I said before, I had an African mind state, though. You know what I'm saying?
When you read the book?
I need to read it again. Yeah, I need to read it again. And a lot of books I need to read again, and with a different eyeball. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
I think about it. I was colonized too, y'all. That's how I can speak on it. What the hell you think?
So, okay. So, what'd you think of it? Coming from an Afrocentric, what was you thinking? Like, this garbage, or what you thinking like interesting, or what you thinking like holy shit?
It for me. Man, I like behind the scenes or something, this is stuff that we'll talk about. You know what I'm saying? And we go back and forth.
Okay, I'll get you.
You know what I mean? this next level shit right here, y'all. You know what I mean? But I feel like, this conversation has to be had right now. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to be had. So yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it. I don't want to spoil it. That's why I don't want to say too much, y'all.
Okay.
So let's watch this right here, and then let's just come back and see what we gotta say. Matter of fact, we can stop it, talk about it, whatever.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go in the chat room.
I was gonna try to play it on another device so you can hear it, and you won't be able to talk over it. But I can put your mic in there though. I can put your mic in that segment. Yeah. Yeah. So did you want to be able to talk over? You want me to? What you want to do? I could put your mic over there. Okay. Well, we just gonna go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead and go in there, and we gonna do it. I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna walk away, and when I got some questions and stuff, I'm gonna stop it, and you can come back. So y'all ready? This is Michael Cremo, Forbidden Archaeology. We finna go in. So let's do it. Chief, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we just gonna go in the chat room. Or you want me just?
I thought you were gonna put it back here. All I gotta do is hear it. Yeah.
Here, hold on. Let me get my speaker together, and I might be able to do it through my speaker, so that way you can hear it. But did you want to talk over it?
Well, I mean, we're gonna stop it and then talk, right?
Okay, because what I need to do, is I need to put you a mic in here. So give me 1 second while I get you a mic over in this segment right here, and I'm gonna try to get my speaker cut on, so that way you can hear it and you can talk as you. Oh shit. Yeah, that ain't gonna cut it, because if I put it through the mic, yeah, if I put it through the mic, it's gonna come out messed up. No, hold up. No, you should be good. You're good. You're good. Okay, so give me 1 second, you guys. I might need to go charge my speaker up so Chief can hear it, and then that way he can kind of talk over it. Or you just want to let him watch it and then come back? What you want to do?
Yeah, let's just watch it all the way through, man. Fuck.
Okay, we're gonna watch it all the way through. Okay, then we'll come back. Because I got the speaker ready.
Watch it all the way through, man. Fuck.
Okay, we're gonna watch it all the way through. Okay, then I got the speaker ready. You sure?
I mean, it's up to you. I ain't tripping.
Okay, here we go. We gonna do it. Just wait right here, Chief. I'm gonna see if I can figure something out. So here we go.
All right.
This segment has been brought to you by, Evolution of Consciousness, The Matrix 4, Cracking the Genetic Code, Sophia Stewart, in stores now. You can also check out her website. It's aboutthematrix.com. If you're into that type of stuff, good read. I got this version, but I got it in PDF, so I got it already. I'm trying to get her to get some music with it, and if I can do the music for it, oh man, it'll just be a whole package. It'll be like it'll be a whole package. So, but yeah, definitely check that out. And also, I guess Michael Cremo is up there, so he get a free one too. So, Forbidden Archaeology, we going in.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Forbidden Archaeology, or as I sometimes call it, Paleolithomania. Now, we've heard something today about megaliths. Megalith is a word, it means big stones used in structures. And I was very fortunate last night to be able to go out to Stonehenge and visit the classic megalithic structure here. I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And although my main focus of research is not megaliths, sometimes in my travels around the world, I do see some megalithic structures. For example, last year I was in India at a place called Hampi in west central India, and I just happened to notice this megalithic structure sitting on a hill next to a boulder perched in a very interesting position. I don't know what it means or what it's for or how old it is, but it is a megalithic structure that I've seen. Also, a couple of years ago, I was speaking at a meeting of the World Archaeological Congress in Osaka, Japan, and I visited the Osaka castle there, and some of the interior walls of the castle have some megaliths as part of them. This one is 48 square meters, weighs 108 tons, and this wall is full of stones of such size and weight taken from distant places. So I have seen some megaliths, but it's not what I'm speaking about tonight. Tonight I'm going to be talking about paleoliths, and that means old stones. Not those old stones, who I dearly love, but other types of stones, old flint objects, and also human bones, human footprints, and very ancient layers of stone. And the question that I'm really looking at is, how old is the human species? Some researchers are looking into how old our different civilizations. I'm looking at the age of our human species on this planet. So how old is our species? Today, the most common answer to that question comes from the modern followers of Charles Darwin, and they tell us that the first human beings like us appeared about 150,000 years ago. Before that, they tell us there were no human beings like us. There were only more primitive ape-like human ancestors. However, the writings of different ancient wisdom traditions, such as the ancient Sanskrit writings of India, tell us a different story. They tell us humans have existed on Earth for many millions of years, going all the way back to the very beginnings of life on Earth. And there is some evidence for this. It's not simply mythology, and I've documented this evidence in these books, some copies of which are here today. This evidence is not very well known because of what I call a process of knowledge filtration that operates in the world of science. We can call the blue box the knowledge filter. What it represents is the dominant consensus in the scientific community about a particular question, in this case, human antiquity. And reports of evidence that support the dominant consensus will pass through this filter very easily, which means, for example, that students will read about this evidence in their textbooks. But if we have reports of evidence that radically contradict the dominant theories, this evidence tends to be filtered out, forgotten, set aside, dismissed for unfair reasons. And therefore, most people, even in the professional scientific community, are unaware of this evidence, which contradicts the ideas being promoted by the modern followers of Charles Darwin. Now, I've spoken about this evidence in some unusual places. For example, the Royal Institution in London. Many of you who are a little bit older will recall that the backside of the old 20-pound note shows the Royal Institution lecture hall with Michael Faraday, the physicist Michael Faraday, speaking there about 150 years ago. One thing I really love about England is how much the English people love their traditions. You know, the same table is there in the Royal Institution that was there 150 years ago, where Michael Faraday was speaking. 150 years later, Michael Cremo speaking at the same table, and some of the same people in the audience. But I don't speak only at these scientific institutions and universities. This is me speaking at an eco camp in Alto Paraíso, Brazil. And I enjoy speaking to all kinds of gatherings, but not everyone appreciates what I have to say. This was a little bit of a discussion after my lecture at the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil. One of the evolutionary biologists there took exception to some of the things I was saying. But now I'm going to go over some of the kind of evidence that I'm talking about, that I document in my books. This is a geologist, Dr. Virginia Steen McIntyre. She was involved in dating an archaeological site in Mexico at a place called Hueyatlaco. It's near the town of Puebla in central Mexico. And there, archaeologists discovered human artifacts. This is the excavation at Huayatlaco. It was a very professional excavation. The artifacts were photographed in the layers of rock in which they were found. And of course, the archaeologists wanted to know how old these things were. So they called a team of geologists to date the site. Virginia Steen McIntyre and her colleagues used 4 methods to date the site, and they concluded that the site must be at least 250,000 years old. But the archaeologists said that's impossible. According to their theories, human beings capable of making the artifacts did not exist anywhere in the world 250,000 years ago. So they refused to publish the age for the site given by their own hand-picked team of geologists. So Virginia Steen McIntyre and her colleagues were a little upset by that. So they independently published the age for the site in a scientific journal. But when they did that, they experienced an extreme negative backlash from their colleagues in the scientific world. Virginia Steen McIntyre lost a teaching position that she held at a university in the United States, and her career as a geologist was suddenly finished because she had dared to publish something that contradicted the dominant theory. She wrote to the editor of the scientific journal that published her report, "Not being an anthropologist, I didn't realize how deeply woven into our thought the current theory of human evolution has become. Our work at Huayatlaco has been rejected by most archaeologists because it contradicts that theory, period." Now, some more work has been done in that area in recent years. There's an archaeologist named Sylvia Gonzalez who now works at a university here in the United Kingdom. She announced the discovery of footprints at the Valsequillo Reservoir, which is right near Huayatlaco. She found dozens of footprints in layers of solidified volcanic ash. So she used the radiocarbon method to date the layers of ash and got an age of 41,500 years, which is old for North America. Generally, scientists think there were no human beings in North America until about 20,000 years ago maximum, but it's well within the range of the anatomically modern human species. As I said in the beginning, most scientists today would say the humans like ourselves came into existence 150,000 years ago. So 41,000 years is not outside that range. However, another scientist from the United States went down there and did additional dating studies on the layer of volcanic ash containing the footprints. He used a different method, a method that he regarded as more accurate, and he got an age of 1.3 million years for those layers of ash. Now, here's what his conclusion was. His conclusion was those prints cannot possibly be human footprints because human beings didn't exist 1,300,000 years ago. My conclusion is a little bit different. The impressions are human footprints, showing that humans like us existed 1.3 million years ago. The footprints are human footprints. They're found in layers of rock 1,300,000 years old. That's evidence for an ancient human presence. And there are other discoveries if we look into the history of archaeology, that support that idea from the same part of the world. In the early 20th century, a human skull cap, it's a partial skull, just the top part of it, was found in Buenos Aires. It was found in an excavation there. The excavators had gone down about 15 meters. At that level, they encountered a thick layer of limestone rock, locally named by locally called Tosca. And when they broke through that layer of limestone rock, they found the human skull. Now, according to modern geologists, that layer beneath the Tosca at that place belongs to the Pre-Ensenadan Formation. And according to modern geologists, that formation is at least 1.5 million years old. So there's human skeletal remains over 1 million years old. There are human footprints over 1 million years old. This discovery from Buenos Aires was announced to the scientific world by a prominent South American paleontologist, Florentino Ameghino. Now here in England, an interesting discovery was announced at a meeting of the British Association for the Advancement of Science in 1881 by the geologist Henry Stopes. He announced the discovery of a shell with a simple but recognizable human face carved on it. This shell came from the Red Crag Formation at Walton-on-Naze, which is on the North Sea coast in East Anglia, as you see here on this map. This is a photograph of the shore at Walton-on-Naze, and the Red Crag Formation can be seen high up on the cliff there. It's that reddish band just a little bit from the top of the cliff there. And it is that formation that contains fossil seashells, including the fossil seashell with the human face carved upon it. Now, how old is that Red Crag Formation? Modern geologists here in the United Kingdom tell us that the Red Crag Formation belongs to the geological period called the Pliocene, belongs to the late Pliocene, which would make it between 2 and 3 million years old. Another interesting discovery was made in the same general area. A human jawbone was discovered 16 feet deep in the Red Crag Formation at a place called Foxhall. So Foxhall is on the eastern outskirts of Ipswich, also in East Anglia, not very far from Walton-on-Naze. And there we have a human jawbone found in the same formation, 2 to 3 million years old. Later, in the early 20th century, a researcher named J. Reed Moore of the Prehistoric Society of East Anglia went to Foxhall and conducted additional excavations in which he discovered many stone tools and weapons, along with signs of the use of fire. He found fireplaces. So this caused Henry Fairfield Osborn, a prominent American archaeologist, to say, "The discoveries of J. Reed Moore bring indubitable evidence of the existence of man in southeast Britain before the close of the Pliocene." The Pliocene period is the geological period that goes from between 2 million and 5 million years ago. So before that period ended, human beings were present in Britain. In 1979, Mary Leakey announced the discovery of footprints at a place called Laetoli in the country of Tanzania in East Africa. In her original report, Mary Leakey said the footprints are indistinguishable from modern human footprints. Other scientists also agreed. Paleontologist Tim White said, "Make no mistake about it, they are like modern human footprints." Now the problem is, these footprints were found in layers of solidified volcanic ash 3,700,000 years old. Now, neither Mary Leakey nor Tim White believed that human beings like us made those footprints. They're evolutionists. They don't think humans like us existed almost 4 million years ago. So how did they explain the footprints? Well, they proposed there must have existed some type of ape man living at that time who had feet exactly like modern human feet. Now that's an interesting proposal. However, there's no physical evidence to back that up. We have the skeletons of the ape men who existed at that time. They're called Australopithecus. And foot bones of Australopithecus have been found. And the foot structure of Australopithecus is not exactly like that of a modern human being. The foot of Australopithecus is very ape-like. It's like a kind of chimpanzee called the bonobo with very long toes, sort of like human fingers, and especially it has a first toe, a long first toe that can move out to the side like a human thumb. So the only creature actually known to science today that has a foot exactly like that of a modern human being is a modern human being like ourselves. Unless some of you have a long first toe that can move out to the side. So what did Mary Leakey actually find? I think we have to keep our minds open to the possibility. She found evidence for a human presence going back almost 4 million years. Now, some might say, okay, footprints are a little bit ambiguous. It would be better if you had human skeletal remains 4 million years old, and such things do exist. This is a skull cap, an anatomically modern human skull cap that was found by the Italian geologist Giuseppe Ragazzoni in the late 19th century at a place called Castanedolo in northern Italy. It was part of a fairly complete anatomically modern human skeleton that he excavated at that place. I went to the village of Castanedolo and I met this gentleman there, and he gave me a copy of a very rare geological report in Italian about this discovery. From the information in the report, we were able to relocate the place where the original excavation was made, and it should be possible to do more research there. Now, when some scientists today hear that an anatomically modern human skeleton has been found in layers of rock 4 million years old, they say, okay, this is very easy to explain. Maybe 4,000 years ago, someone died on the surface, his friends dug a grave, and they put the body down into that ancient layer of rock, and then they filled it in, and that's why you think you've found a human skeleton 4 million years old. Now, things like this can happen. Technically, it's called intrusive burial, but Ragazzoni, Dr. Ragazzoni, was a professional geologist, and he was very much aware of this problem. And in his original report, he points out that if it had been a burial, then the layers of rock above the skeleton would have been disturbed, as we see in this diagram here. But he said he looked very carefully when he was taking the skeleton out of the ground, and he could see that all the layers of rock above the skeleton were intact and undisturbed. Actually, he said each layer above the skeleton had its own microstratification, which was undisturbed. So that means the skeleton really does belong in the layer in which it was found, in this case, about 4 million years old. We'll take a further step back in time. This is the Portuguese geologist Carlos Ribeiro. He was head of the government geology department in the latter part of the 19th century. He discovered hundreds of human artifacts in his country of Portugal in layers of rock 20 million years old. And as a professional geologist, he said, no, they did not slip down into those ancient layers through some fissure or crack or earth movement. I'm a professional geologist. I can see they are native to the layers of rock in which they were found. He displayed these artifacts in the glass cases you see there in the Museum of Geology in Lisbon. So when I was investigating this case, I went to this museum, but the artifacts are not displayed in those glass cases anymore. Today they're kept locked in the little cabinets down behind me. But I got permission from the director of the museum to open up those cabinets, and I was able to study and photograph some of these 20 million year old human artifacts from Portugal. And I also studied Dr. Ribeiro's original maps and field notes in the museum archives. After that, I went into the countryside of Portugal and I relocated some of the sites where Ribeiro made his discoveries. For example, this is the quarry at Muganheira, where he found human artifacts in layers of rock 20 million years old, including this flint artifact with a point on it. Down at the point, there are use marks showing it was used. It's interesting what happened. When Ribeiro was alive, he displayed these artifacts in the museum in Lisbon with labels indicating an age of 20 million years. After he died, his colleagues in the museum did something interesting. They left the artifacts on display, but they wrote new labels for them, giving them far younger ages. This is the new label that they wrote for the artifact I just showed you. The second line gives the age. It says Paleolitico Superior. That means Upper Paleolithic period. And according to archaeologists today, that period in Europe goes back about 20,000 years. So, Ribeiro's colleagues thought, well, 20 million years, that's clearly impossible. 20,000 years, that sounds about right. So they wrote new labels for all of the artifacts. And then the next generation of officials in the museum just put the entire collection away, new labels and all. And I'm the first researcher to see these things in over 50 years. Now here's a case I've been looking into recently. I've got it under study. Somebody can help me pronounce this name. Herbert Basedow? Anybody know? Okay, Herbert Basedow, I'll call him. He was conducting some excavations of Aboriginal rock art in Australia early in the 20th century. And he was working at a place called Lake Eyre, and he was looking at rock art there. And the thing that I found interesting was this. Now, the specific type of rock art that we're looking at is called pecked rock art. In other words, the Aboriginal artists were using a piece of stone to chip out little pecks of rock to make a pattern. And can anybody tell me what that pattern is, or what it suggests to you? It's actually a platypus. Yeah, it's, I'm not the best with this digital tracing equipment, but it's, you can see at the top there's the platypus bill, and then there's 4 legs. And actually, if you look really closely, you can see the claws. I wasn't able to get that in, down at the bottom, especially on both sides. And it's really a special kind of platypus that's no longer living. It's a fairly big one, and it's now extinct. But in any case, this place, Lake Eyre, is in, let's see if I can get this to work. There's Lake Eyre there. It's actually in the south central part of Australia, and it's a very dry area. No platypuses there now. And this map shows the current range. The yellow area is the current range of the platypus, and Lake Eyre is way off the current range in this extremely dry area. So I had a question that I put to the platypus experts at the Australian National Museum in Sydney. So I asked them, what is the latest date the platypus could have lived in the Lake Eyre region? And they said, well, they may have lived there 20 to 25 million years ago, or may well have lasted up to about 10 or 15 million years ago. So just to show you how my twisted mind works, okay, you've got rock art showing a platypus. Not a living type of platypus, but an extinct type of platypus. No platypus is living there now, and according to the platypus experts among the scientists in Australia, no platypus has been there for 15 million years, 10 or 15 million years. So the way my mind works is, well, 10 or 15 million years ago, when there was a platypus there, somebody made this rock art depicting it. Hence, evidence for a human presence 10 to 15 million years ago in Australia. That's how my mind works. Now, amber is a pretty interesting substance. Some amber is found in the Baltic area, like the seashore of Latvia, for example. And sometimes in amber, scientists find very interesting things. Of course, it's the fossilized sap of a tree. And sometimes in amber, scientists find insects, millions of years old, fossil insects. So a few years ago, I was giving some lectures in Russia. My books are published in the Russian language, and I've been invited there many times to give lectures. So in St. Petersburg, I'd given a lecture, and after the lecture, a Russian naval officer, retired now, came up to me and showed me a piece of amber that he had found on the seacoast of Latvia during his time there during the Soviet period when he was a naval officer stationed at a base in Latvia. And this is the piece of amber he showed me. And the interesting part is up here. Are you starting to see something there? Like a little woven type structure. Now, this is inside that piece of amber. You can see it there. Now, this is really kind of interesting to me because according to standard histories, weaving of cloth, that type of weaving, only began about 15,000 years ago in the Neolithic period. That's the standard scientific idea. However, the amber from the Baltic is from the geological period called the Oligocene. And the Oligocene goes from 25 million to 38 million years ago. So, this is the way my mind works. I take this as possible evidence for a human presence at least 25 million years ago. Now, a case that I've often spoken about before, but which remains one of my favorites, just like at a Rolling Stones concert, still going to hear Satisfaction, even after 40 years. So probably if I keep lecturing for another 40 years, you're going to hear this case again. It's the California gold mine discoveries. Gold was discovered in the 19th century in California. To get the gold, miners dug tunnels into the sides of mountains at places like Table Mountain in California. And deep inside the tunnels in the solid rock, the miners found human bones and human artifacts. For example, they found many of these stone mortars and pestles. Now, what makes these discoveries so interesting to me is that they were found in layers of solid rock that belong to the early part of the geological period called the Eocene, which means they'd be about 50 million years old. These discoveries were announced to the scientific world by Dr. J.D. Whitney, who was the chief government geologist of California. His report was published by Harvard University in the year 1880. But we do not read about these things in the textbooks today because of the process of knowledge filtration. And this is the scientist most responsible for the knowledge filtering in this particular case. William Holmes, an anthropologist at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. He wrote, "If Dr. Whitney had understood the theory of human evolution, he would not have published that report despite the imposing array of testimony with which he was confronted." I'll translate that for you who don't understand scientese. If the facts don't fit the theory, the facts have to be wrong. And they should be forgotten. And that's exactly what happened. However, a few years ago, I was a consultant for a television documentary called The Mysterious Origins of Man that was shown on NBC, one of the largest American television networks. The producer, a man named Bill Cote, had read my book, Forbidden Archaeology, and he wanted to include some cases from the book in the documentary. So I told him he should go to the Museum of Anthropology at the University of California at Berkeley, because I knew that some of the artifacts from the California gold mines are still in the collection of that museum. So he went there, but the museum officials refused to allow him to see the artifacts, what to speak of film them. Now, we were able to find some photographs of the artifacts that Dr. Whitney had taken in the 19th century, so he did have some images to use in the documentary. But it was interesting what happened. This documentary featured not just my work, but the work of other researchers in the alternative history field, like Graham Hancock and others. When scientists in the United States found out that NBC was going to show this television program, on a Sunday evening at a time when many innocent young children would still be up watching the telly with their parents. They went ballistic. They tried to stop NBC from showing the program. They weren't successful. It was shown. It was quite popular. So then this group of scientists went to the United States government, to the Federal Communications Commission, which is the agency of the government that regulates the TV broadcasting industry. And they tried to get the government to investigate NBC, censure NBC. But they wanted the government to force NBC to broadcast primetime apologies for having shown the program. And they also wanted the government to fine NBC millions of dollars so they would never do any such thing again. Now, I'm happy to say the government didn't do any of those things, but I thought it was very interesting that these organized attempts to do this were made by the scientific community. Now, later, I went back to the museum myself. I was preparing to give a report about these discoveries at a meeting of the World Archaeological Congress, of which I'm a member, and which is the world's largest international organization of archaeologists. So my proposal to present such a report was accepted by the Congress. So I went to the museum officials with a letter of acceptance, and they decided they would let me personally see these artifacts. They're not kept in the museum itself. They're kept in a storage building several miles from the museum. And I had to be accompanied by a museum official every step of the way, go through all kinds of security. And these are some of the artifacts from the California gold mines. Now, if you went to the museum, you would never see them. I mean, sometimes people think this idea that there are strange things in the storerooms of the museums, that's just Hollywood movie material, like from Indiana Jones and films like that. But it actually is a fact, you know, as we heard from Brian a little earlier today, and now from me, there are some pretty strange things in the storerooms of the museum that the general public don't get to see. I also studied Dr. Whitney's original maps and field notes, and then I went into the mountains of California. This is Table Mountain as it looks today. And we were able to find some of the old gold mining tunnels where these objects were originally discovered. Now, how far back in time can we go with evidence like this? In the year 1862, a scientific journal called The Geologist published an interesting report. A human skeleton was found 30 meters below the surface of the ground in Macoupin County in the state of Illinois in America. According to the report, above the skeleton was a thick layer of slate rock that was unbroken. That's an important detail. It kind of rules out the intrusive burial hypothesis. And according to modern geologists of the state of Illinois, that layer beneath the slate rock at that place is about 300 million years old. This interesting report from... Oops, got a little bit ahead of myself there.
Damn!
You saw into the future. You had a premonition of what's coming. This interesting report from Scientific American from the year 1852 tells of a beautiful metallic vase that was found 5 meters deep in solid rock near the city of Boston in a place called Dorchester. I think there's a place like that in England, isn't there? But this is the American Dorchester. It was a beautiful silver inlaid vase with some beautiful floral pattern engraved in it. And it was found 5 meters deep in solid rock. And according to modern geologists of the United States Geological Survey, the age of the rock at that place, at that depth, is about 600 million years. So I could keep you here from now until Christmas going through one case after another, because there are hundreds of these, but we don't have time for that. But the point is, there is archaeological evidence that contradicts the idea that humans like us appeared fairly recently, within the past 150,000 years on Earth. And this archaeological evidence is consistent with the writings of many ancient wisdom traditions, such as the ancient Sanskrit writings of India, which tell us humans have been present on Earth for millions and millions of years in the course of cyclical time. So I'm going to wrap this up with some stories about my experiences in presenting this type of thing at universities around the world. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, my books are now published in about 20 different languages. One of them is Russian. So I've been invited to Russia several times, and I've lectured at universities from one end of the country to the other. Normally, the lectures go okay, but in some cases, there are problems. For example, I was invited to speak at the Tyumen State University in Russia. Some professors there wanted me to speak about my work, and a lecture was scheduled. But the day before the lecture, the president of the university canceled the lecture because of pressure from other professors in the university who did not want me to speak. First of all, because I was contradicting the theory of human evolution, and second of all, because I was doing it from the perspective of some ancient wisdom tradition. They didn't like that at all. So the professors who invited me tried to get the president of the university to change his mind, but he wouldn't. The pressure from the other side was too great. So then the professors who invited me went to the local branch of the Russian Academy of Science, and they spoke to the director there, and he said, okay, if they won't let him speak at the university, he can speak here, and nobody will put any pressure on me to cancel his lecture. So they had buses bring students and professors from the university to the Russian Academy of Science building. And the professors who invited me said, more people came than would have come if the lecture had been held at the university, because they were all just wondering, what is this man going to say that's so dangerous that they canceled his lecture? So then, after the lecture, I had a nice meeting with the director of the Russian Academy of Science branch and with some of the scientists who had invited me and appreciated what I had to say. And then the next year, I went back to the same university and I spoke in the biology department there, no problem. I guess they learned their lesson. Better just let me speak. But this happens sometimes. If this sort of thing didn't happen once or twice a year, I'd have to stop calling myself the forbidden archaeologist. I think maybe I'm going soft or something. Something's wrong. So I want to thank you for your kind attention. If you want to follow up on any of these things, you could have a look at this, my latest book, The Forbidden Archaeologist, which is made of columns that I write for Atlantis Rising magazine. So it's all short, bite-sized pieces, easy to read. It's a good introduction to my work for those who aren't already familiar with it. And then some of my other books are also out there at the table in front. I'm also going to mention that in December 2012, I'm a speaker on a cruise that's going to the Mayan sites in Central America. I'm going to be talking about Vedic time cycles as they relate to Mayan time cycles. If you're interested in a cruise, you might think about that. And you could also follow up on my work at my website or Facebook, Twitter. Thanks a lot.
Questions? Questions, anyone? There's a few. We'll wait for the mic, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Yo, Todd.
Yeah, I'm on. Yes, sir. Yes, so how are we doing? Again, this was brought to you by Sophia Stewart. Her website is truthaboutmatrix.com. Her book is available, The Matrix 4. She has them on hardcover, paperback, and PDF. Matrix 4, The Evolution of Consciousness. The Matrix 4, Cracking the Genetic Code. And we, Chief, what's up, Chief Holiday?
Ooh, man. Hey, bro, is she using? I mean, okay, hold the presses right now, y'all. That's Neo. That's Morpheus. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger right there. So y'all mean to tell me that the sister can use their stuff in her marketing? Peace to the Empress, to the Goddess, to the great Miss Sophia Stewart.
Sophia Stewart.
I don't know. Yeah,
So,
the Oracle, man. Peace. You're definitely a legend, and your work's gonna definitely be here forever. So yeah, please, peace to you. Please go support her work, y'all. We will be honoring her at the First American Powwow. That's gonna be in April 19th through the 21st out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Be there, be square, man. Let's get it, y'all.
Yeah.
Man.
So apparently she's going around. She's going around plagiarizing Matrix 4, and she got their pictures on the book, and she's not getting sued. How is that possible? Huh? How is she doing that? Let's see somebody else go out and try that. See what happened. But anyway,
hey, that's
who knows?
Interesting. Huh?
Yeah, that's
interesting.
That's pretty interesting. But you never know. I don't know. But anyway, so is this guy Michael Cremo? Is he a conspiracy theorist or some kind of? Is he a conspiracy theorist or is he an anthropologist?
First and foremost, right? He gave evidence. See, here's the thing, right? The thing that a lot of people don't work with, they work with theories as opposed to working with evidence.
Right.
Okay? So at the end of the day, if you're doing any dating, then what makes the dating process any different when they're dating the skull caps and things that they're finding all over the world, man, especially here in America? Like, I mean, can we please address this, man?
Right.
Can we not stop?
Right. If I can use my dates, then you can use yours.
Yeah, that's it. So if not, let's throw the dates away.
Throw them out.
Their dates don't work too.
Right.
Your dates don't work. Your dates don't work. Check. We all cool on that. If you go back millions of years with your little schemes and dates, then the motherfuckers that did the same testing, used the same dating process. I mean, what more can we say? And then also, some of these things were done prior to the theory of evolution had been hatched. You know what I'm saying? So, we got to talk about that. And there's just so much said in this thing, man. You know, first off, man, they're working with a theory. Okay? I mean, at the end of the day, we have to fight a theory with a dominant fact. See, he kept saying that they were working with a dominant theory, right? Well, I say that, we have to be the dominant theory with a dominant fact. You know what I'm saying? And kind of bookend that, he said that, he seems like he's going soft. Well, no, brother, you doing so much. Your work is doing so well. And shout out to Dr. Eileen Bay, right? You know what I'm saying? Does great work, man. And, you know what I'm saying? So, brothers are doing this work, you know what I'm saying, when they talk about this, right? We talk about forbidden archaeology, we talk about the word. So we don't necessarily have to be an archaeologist to be a researcher, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, obviously, he's an archaeologist. He's a member of the members Council of Archaeologists, the biggest members of archaeologists in the world. I mean, we've seen his credentials, read all his stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? So I would say that the brother it should be credible when it comes to this. Shout out to Bob Mackin in the building. What to do, bro? Big Ooga. Shout out to Reginald Green in the building. We got a little Yokes in the building. Yeah, we ain't finished. Nah, we just getting started.
Yeah, we just getting started. We're just getting started.
That's just the appetizer.
Yeah.
That's just the appetizer. We're gonna have a full course meal here today, and then we're gonna be serving up some dessert tonight. That's what we're gonna be having. And we're gonna be serving drinks with that too. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Once the kids go to sleep, it's gonna get even worse.
So we gotta get to this, right? So check this out, right? So it's the dominant facts beat dominant theories. You know what I'm saying? It's at the end of the day, a theory is not a fact, and a dominant fact, just a regular fact, beats a theory. We need that.
Hold on. What's the dominant fact? Okay, you're losing me. What's that?
Dominant fact.
What is that? Doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
Excuse it don't?
It don't exist.
Okay, here's a dominant fact. That any of these goddamn skulls and skull caps that you're finding prior to 10,000 years are carbonate beings.
Come here.
So if you're finding people, Michael Cremo, millions of years, or evidence of human beings being in the Americas or any other places on this planet, hundreds of thousands of millions of years ago, those people, my friends, will be what everybody likes to say, black. Check. That's a goddamn dominant fact. Okay, that's something that they try to.
Sorry about that.
He kept saying, I got to take you to task on this, Michael Cremo. When you say like us, right? I take offense to that because you're in a room full of pale faces, and wasn't no pale faces all over the planet thousands of years ago, even millions, definitely not millions of years ago. Can we be clear on this? Is that a goddamn dominant fact for you, sir?
For me?
Okay.
Check.
Yeah, for you. You asked me what dominant fact, because I mean that's what I told you to do. I need you to challenge this information because I'm challenging.
I know that's what I'm doing.
That's right. Down, taking nothing.
Right. That's what I'm doing. But I had to step away. But yeah, there's no. I can't.
Now here's the dominant theory.
I would accept the fact, and that's it. Anything else is extra. It's too. I made it up because I can say that I can make that up too. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
I can make that up too. I can be like, man, this is a tie data fact.
Okay, I got you.
Then what that mean? Oh, that means it's two facts in the one or some shit. I mean, yeah. So we can keep going on with that. But
okay.
So I accept the fact.
Okay, you accept that?
Yeah, but unless he was talking about that it supersedes another fact, a so-called fact or whatever, then I can understand that being a dominant fact. Okay. Or
okay.
But
here's a theory for y'all that they say that 20,000 years ago, that's when man came to America. That's their theory, right? That's their theory.
Right.
We all agree. That's theory.
That's what they believe.
That goes along with the stories and the things that they want to try to pull on that.
Don't the Stonehenges, the Eastern Island eggs, don't they go against that? I mean, ain't them Eastern Highland eggs older than I don't know, but do they go against the South African theory at all?
Everything goes against South African theory.
Somebody check that out, because accordingly there was nobody over here. So
hey, we about to get to that too.
There's a lot of shit going on over here when nobody's supposed to be here. So I don't know, giants and aliens, man. I don't know if they working together against us on this side, but apparently it wasn't us. So we're gonna
Okay.
have to figure that
So,
out.
1,000 years ago. Okay, so with all the pyramids, all the things that you see here in Americas, on top of them, the
Yeah.
geologists going down. I mean, I think we all can agree that you know
Who gave him that?
deeper down into the ground, the older the planet is. Can we all agree on that? Is that a fact? I think that's a goddamn fact. I don't know about y'all, but I think that's a fact. Check. I mean, am I saying something wrong?
I'm sorry.
So they,
I was distracted.
so when they go down 10 feet is younger than 20 feet. 20 feet is younger than 30 feet. 30 feet is younger than 100 feet. Y'all see how this works? So when you go down 1,500 feet, you obviously know that's older than 10 feet.
Right.
That's all factual. We don't have to argue about that. Everybody's cool. So if you find evidence of human behavior that goes down to the Pliocene era, y'all. Pliocene era, and I've been teaching them. I think I've been sharing this for a while. We talk about a time period from 2 million to 5 million years, y'all. So, but what they do, right, is now you got all these other dates, right? All these other time periods that start going back even further. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you say, wait a minute, what's going on with these dates and these times or whatever? They'll tell you, yo, things were here during these times. This was here. Rocks and dirt was here, right? So they could date the dirt, date the rocks. And they say, okay, during this period of time, these rocks and dirt was here based on these things, based on this, based on, there's a volcano here. This is lava here, whatever. This volcano hasn't erupted in blah, blah, blah. Y'all feel where I'm going with this? Y'all find animals that are extinct. You all the evidence, right? No. He said it was hundreds, y'all. Now, that was interesting. He said hundreds of cases. Hundreds?
Man.
Is this hundreds of cases of... okay. So, here's the thing, right? He showed a couple. Can those be refuted? Yes, of course. Somebody could have went down there and did that platypus. That platypus could have been done in 1998. That's the absolute fact. That's a fact.
Right.
Right? That's a fact.
Yep.
Right? But people are dating stuff and people are doing things or whatever, you know. I don't know. That could be disputed, you know. And he just said that could be in a column of evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, one thing I did like about it is that he didn't have no theories, and he didn't really make no claims. He just showed the evidence and says if this is true, pretty much, it goes against what we've been told and what we've been taught. And
facts.
And sometimes it's hard to go against what you've been told and what you've been taught. It's hard to do that. And so, you know, just like Neo in the beginning of the Matrix, you know, he couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? When he first found that phone, you remember when he found that phone? I don't know if you remember that he was at work and he found that phone and he was like, "Who is this?" And they was like, "Yeah, I think it was Morphin." He was like, "There's a guy coming up," and he looked up. He's like, "Whoa, what is this?" You know what I mean? He couldn't believe it. And it's hard to go against what you've been taught. It's hard to go against the grain. And I don't know how he even made it through it, but I liked his claims when he was talking about how, you know, some of the mainstream scientists, you know, how they was treating him, and how the one lady lost her job, and you know, and they didn't want that theory. That theory was sealed up tight, man. That shit was sealed up tight. Anybody go against that theory, you damn near going against the Pope, man.
Why not just debunk it? Because hey, how about this right here? After tonight, they'll be able to say, go back and say, you know what? We can debunk this. We can debunk Michael Cremo. We can debunk, and by debunking Michael Cremo, you can debunk me. That's how you do that. Like, we represent them. We present the information, right? But the problem is, right? Y'all remember when Professor James Small said that we have been here at least 200,000 years plus? This is what he's talking about, brothers and sisters. This is 300 level class, y'all. right, Phil, this might be a little bit above your class right now. Y'all are in the short bus, okay? This is why, y'all. This is what.
So
I,
basically,
I was wondering why y'all have never asked Professor Smalls about this. Why haven't you checked these time periods, the Pliocene era and all these other scene eras? This is too damn funny. So until y'all can find some geologists to back up y'all root story and all other dumb shit that you believe in, and also your DNA, okay? Try that. Fact check, okay? Do that. Until you can do any. Can I get some evidence? Like, I don't want emotions after this. I need some evidence, y'all. Any of you squads, I need y'all to provide some evidence. And y'all remember, we're just getting started. So I need you to provide some evidence of the things that you say.
But
that's what I need you to do.
This is the thing, though, is that, you know, because I looked into this out of Africa theory a little bit, and most of the scientists, they call it a theory. So all this shit that these people be saying in the conscious community, scientists don't say that shit that they be saying.
Do we need to look up theory again for everybody?
No, but you can find them. You can find them, and they will literally say it's a theory. Don't nobody. I never heard no.
No. People think theories are something. Maybe they don't know what theory means because I didn't.
Yeah, I think they know what theory
means. Squad didn't. Those dudes that was debating A1 and APM the other night. They didn't know
that they was talking about a damn theory.
A goddamn theory and a fact, because they tend to believe that a scientific theory is a goddamn fact. All I gotta ask them
is as a scientific theory. If there's a such thing as a scientific theory,
fact, and if it is it different from a scientific theory, you dummies? Right. Don't do that.
If there's a scientific theory, then I want a theory in my name. I want a tie data theory, and I want a tie data fact. Damn it. If there's such thing, I don't know how math gonna support it, but I just want to say it because it sounds.
They support eugenics. They support Darwinism. They support the Royal Societies and every other society that has been against our people.
So what's
the deal? And everything else, when they talk about Holmes and they talk about all these, the Huxleys and all these other dumb fucks that use all these things, they're taking our stuff and keeping the best information for themselves and then shitting on us. That's what they did. And that's from all over the world. The Aborigines all over the world. We're standing up and the Aborigines around the world. That's what we're doing. We're not shitting on nobody. Does that work?
Right. Aboriginal.
Too slow for me,
yeah. So, yeah. That was pretty interesting. It was old as hell. Is he still living?
Of course.
Can we call him?
I'm sure.
Yeah. We gotta get him. You know, along with Sophia Stewart, we gotta get them on a show together. Oh. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
That would be. Oh my God.
So check it out, right? So I want to see if there's any questions in the chat room, right? And if you got any more questions about what we just seen, because we're about to get into an interview that he did, right? And he's gonna get into some other stuff I thought was interesting in that. But it's kind of some of the same stuff. So it's everything's just interesting, y'all. And yeah, we definitely want to see a lot more of this evidence, y'all. Because remember, you haven't shown any evidence. Shit, Rob Owen, you can't bring out a book that has African American in it. You don't have a skull cap with that African American. You see how that works? You gotta see. We could pull skull caps out. We could pull footprints out. We could pull out saws and chains and weapons. What do you have? I'll wait. We could pull out petrographs. What do you have? We can show you pyramids. We can show you mounds. What do you have? I'll wait.
We got a theory.
A goddamn theory that was created by a Springsteen or somebody. Man, y'all it's crazy. Y'all are slow.
Yeah. Scientists will, a real scientist will tell you a theory. I notice a lot of the scientists, they always leave it open end. They never close the possibilities. They always leave room for possibilities. They never make a bold, they rarely make a bold statement like, I know this is true. It's always evidence shows, some evidence support, I noticed. But these guys on these channels, they be talking bold as hell, like, yeah, this happened. Yeah, this true. You see what I'm saying? So I suggest people to go to listen to more of these scientists and the way they talk, and the more of these scientists interviews, because they don't talk like these guys on these platforms, because they so sure and they 100% possible on these platforms. But when you go to the scientists they talk about, they don't never make no bold ass claims. Even the ones of the Outer Africa theory, they would leave an open ending. Oh yeah, it's a theory. You ever heard of the string theory? I heard of a.
Yo, crazy. He said we reaching 1,000 level. That's right.
Right, I heard.
Hey,
of
so
a string theory by some
Huh?
physicists have a string theory where everything have like little strings and stuff like that. And he's a physicist, and it's very sophisticated though what he was saying, but he called it a theory. I mean, the shit is so mathematically sound, you can just about believe it. But the scientists who invented it call it a theory. So that's all we have. So if anybody want to put their theory up against, I don't know, some actual evidence that goes against that theory.
Well, okay. Well, here's another one that he cited. 1881, Henry Stokes, a shell.
Shell. Yeah. Anyway, y'all. So it's almost time for the kids to go to bed, and we're gonna get in deep.
So Henry Stokes, right? 1881, a shell found in red crater, red crag, right? And y'all know what that is, like the red clay dirt down in Mississippi and Alabama and stuff. Y'all know about that down there?
I never seen none of that.
What?
Yeah, I never seen red dirt.
That's awful. But anyway, so he's that right there goes into the Pliocene era, goes down to 2 to 3 million years. See, I mean, are we gonna accept that as evidence, as a date? I mean, that's interesting. Can we? Oh, and then the same thing, they found a jawbone in the same area. Now, you said that y'all found a jawbone, a monkey person, right? That y'all dated back to 7 motherfucking million years, right?
Right.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing your dating period. I'm just asking you, can we use the same dating to date our jawbone of a human in America? Can we do the same thing? That's half the date of yours. Can we have that? Is that possible? You see how that work, y'all?
Right.
Can we have? Because if you're using your date of 7 million years, 7.2 million years,
validate everybody else's date.
You validate that tooth, then you have to give us this 2 million years of a human jawbone in America, in skull caps and things like that or whatever. Y'all have to give us this. You can't get around this. They can't get around. I can't get around this right here. You got to. Okay, listen. If they're doing any dating, then Michael Cremo information has to come into play. Yeah, we can't. No, yeah.
Right. So if anybody gives some dates, then they validate your dates. So if you and if one of these guys try to come on your channel and say some shit, just get a date out of them and say what date. Oh yeah, that was the height of the Paleolithic era and shit. Oh okay, for real. Oh okay, cool. Well, I got something that go back to the goddamn beginning of the earth. God damn it, my date matches. My date's good too. God damn it.
So, see, Mary Leakley, 1979, like footprints in Tanzania. So that dating process, we're not using it.
Yeah, we can't use America dates. Yeah, they cheated in America, but they told the truth in Egypt.
You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, though, Mike Cremo. So here's the thing, bro. I gotta take you to task again on this too, right? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of suspect to me that you're talking about hominids and all these other different creatures that don't exist. That goes along with the evolution theory. That's what I'm saying. So we're debunking the evolution theory, then you got to debunk it all the way, not just part of the way. That's what I'm saying. So we don't have no damn.
What dinosaur? Did he say something about a dinosaur? I heard him mention a guy in California was like 2,500 million years ago or something like that. Like, can they do that? 25 million? Like, that's hard for me to believe. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know. That sounds like somebody's trying to sell some books or something. 25 million goddamn years ago, man.
Hey, bro, listen, bro, listen, fam. They have this is what they're saying, right? I can pull it up. They're saying that they have evidence of monkey people running around 25, 30 million years ago, right? How do you have evidence of monkey people? Because they want to put it on monkey people. They don't want to it was footprints here. Remember, do you have monkey footprints or you have
human
people footprints? Right. Once again, there's more evidence. You have to produce the monkey footprint. Don't talk us. Show us the hominid footprint. You showed us the tooth, but you did not show us the hominid footprint. See how that hurt? So you could talk us or whatever. I will take the footprint before I take it's encased in lime, encased in stone, encased in ashes. It's deep dirt, down in the dirt, right?
Yeah. What about
that's down? That's in red crag. I'm gonna go with that before I go with your DNA. Before I go with your little tooth. Before I go with any dumb shit that you come up with. I'm gonna go with that evidence before let's just weigh the evidence. If that's your evidence, this is our evidence. I've spoke on this for years. This is not new. It's new to you. It's not new to us. It's new to you. Keep that in the back of your mind. 93. Come on, y'all. Like, this information's been out there. People have been powwowing this or whatever. Like I said, I try to stay in the realm of things I can prove.
Hey, I gotta speak up on that footprint though. What about that footprint that the scientist was trying to say? Oh no, that's a monkey thing, and he was like, what monkey thing got a foot like this? So are they trying to say that these monkey things and human was walking around together? That's interesting because
it's gonna get more interesting in a minute, y'all. Because like I said,
it's starting to seem like
Mike, you still be holding on to some of they evolutionary kind of talking points, Mike. You still doing it. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but you still do it a little bit. So we're gonna have to cure you of that. Because remember, he was correct the teachers. He correct the doctors over here. Right. How about that?
He's been sarcastic, but the monkey thing. No. He was saying like, well, if these footprints is human and there's no monkey thing that has them type of feet, so obviously they don't know what they was talking about. Obviously they was trying to sell us some bullshit or something was wrong.
No, he said they don't have the evidence to produce that. They don't have the physical evidence to produce what they just said.
Right, a footprint, a monkey thing that matched those footprints.
They put Lucy together. They put Lucy together like Mr. Potato Head.
Right. They got
we got a monkey neck. Okay. We got a monkey thigh.
From way over here,
right here. We're gonna put her feet right. Come on, y'all. Stop it.
Yeah.
So the footprints that they placed Lucy monkey bones by go back millions of years, not the goddamn bones, y'all. Check. These goddamn liars, man. Like the damn monkey bones just laying in the dirt for millions of years, just chilling.
Are you lying? Really? They was on top.
Bro, come on, bro.
They was on top.
I ain't making this shit up, bro.
They found Lucy on top, man.
These Negroes is moving bones around like, let's put this over here by this. Put this right here. We're going to make a whole thing. And guess what? Your DNA goes along with the monkey shit. It just does. I don't know what else. We've proven it 1,000 times.
They sold that. They sold that good, and they got all y'all motherfuckers walking around with degrees and shit, thinking y'all know some shit. Go get your money back. We need to sue these motherfuckers. Be like,
hey, straight the fuck up. All you universities, all you educational people need to be sued. Period. And you teachers, shame on you.
They don't know.
How can you go to school teaching and you're supposed to care for
Well,
these?
if they
these,
teach
these
it's a theory though, that is
young
legit
people?
though. If they teach it's a
What?
theory, I
Nah,
believe they teach
nah,
it's a theory, but
nah.
I think some people just they so their attitude is just so fucking just I don't know. They what I'm saying, it's just so straightforward that they just try to sell it as a fact, so they can try to shut down the Aboriginal or shut down the Hebrew or some shit. But because when I talk to scientists, I never hear them make the statements that these people in this community make. They always leave an open end, and they always call it a theory. You see what I'm saying? But they'll sell the hell out of it. But you'll never hear them say, "Oh yeah, those Lucy's real," and then you be like, "Yeah, Lucy was evidence of the evolution theory." That's how scientists talk. They don't sound like these dudes. You see what I'm saying?
Well, here's another thing too, right? I gotta take Michael Cremo to task about too, right, Mike? You said Vedic versus Mayan, huh?
Somebody said,
See, when you start talking about time, you're putting. Hold on, Ty. You're putting new things in ancient time conversations, right? Because even for you saying Vedic and versus Mayan, I don't know much about the Vedic side of it, but I do know it's not more ancient than us. So even if you have these cosmology stories or whatever, when you're saying that you're talking about the time versus this time and stuff like that or whatever, right? But we can talk about that. I think that would be a interesting conversation. It really would, because for us, they were counting in America first. See how that works?
I am you in the building, esoteric.
So I would like to have that conversation, Mike.
In the building. I'm sorry if I mess up your name, but that's what I see. Raven Hawk in the building.
Yo, but how they be having skull caps, man? Somebody done peel somebody's muffin back blue. Somebody done peel somebody's cap back, boy. Like they ain't left nothing but the skull cap. Every time I hear that, y'all, I think of somebody just get their shit snatched off. Like, yo.
Where the rest of the face at? What the fuck happened to the rest of the bones, huh?
Hey, but listen though,
Like,
yo, you don't have to have the bones to have evidence of human beings, right? People, right? You know what I'm saying? They say, yo, if you dig deep in the ground, you say, oh shit, we found evidence of people being here because it's a pot. Check it out, right? That's been engraved on a card or whatever. And just because you didn't know nothing about metallurgy and you found this in some million-year-old thing or whatever, our answer, we are ancient people. Ain't nothing new under the sun. You heard? Sheesh. But yo, I think let's get to this next video, man. And yeah. Shout out to the tribe, man. Peace to everybody, man, that put in this work, man. The truth is in the building. We're in the building, man. We got the cyborg in the building. We got the tribe in the building. Shout out to all the great ones listening in, man. Hashtag you are the greatest of all time. Hashtag young Cassius Clay in his prime. Let's get it. Hey, shout out to Michael Cremo. Hey, Mike, hey, listen, bro. This is what we do over here, man. We critique everything, everybody with respect. You know what I'm saying? And I love to have this conversation about the time frames or whatever when we're talking about cosmology and things of that nature, whatever, and how, somebody had to be counting first, right? Check. That's a universal thing. Counting would be universal, right? So somebody had to have that consciousness first. So I love to have that conversation. Did that information come to them there, or did it just start there? Check. So that's how we do that. Hey, you already put the video on yet? Ty. Yo, Ty Data. We have some technical difficulties over here. Yeah. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Ty Data. Well, yeah, while Ty getting this stuff together, yeah. Yeah, we gotta talk about this. You know, we gotta talk about these dates, right? Now, I don't think that, you know, that you should just use one source or whatever. I think you should always cross reference things or whatever. With cosmology stories, with archaeology, with geology, with phrenology, with every ology that you can come up with, and to make your conclusion that you come up with before you come up with a conclusion. You know what I'm saying? You just can't have a one-sided conclusion. So I feel that you should definitely know both sides of any argument before you even argue that argument. Just off top. That's just rule number one. Ty, you there?
Or try to sound like somebody else that you can get, kind of get swept under the rug doing that. I think individuality is a big part of being successful in the music game now.
Yeah. That's debate 101. I don't know what you got going on there, bro. It's absolute garbage. They say you real low. I can't hear you at all. Shout out to David Cluis in the building. Thank everybody for hitting the thumbs up button. Can like, share, and subscribe to all our channels, man. Subscribe to everything, man, and definitely subscribe to Tribe Up Die Out, man. We revolution. We revolutionize. We revolutionizing social media. We call it tribal media, man. So check out Tribe Up Die Out, man. Peace to the tribe, man. Big Ooga Ooga. Shout out to my partner Ism Moses over at the tribe, over at the Cave Radio, man. The Tribe Radio, Cave Radio. Yeah, man. Peace to the tribe, man. We definitely appreciate everybody. We're in the building. We here, man. I'm sure that we got a lot of stuff misspelled and we got a lot of things going on, but guess what? We still dropping these flames over here, and y'all gonna have to deal with it. Ty, just play the video. I guess he can't even play it. I don't even have to hear it. I can hear it. I'm on the desktop too, so. No. Right. That's a fact, yo. I don't know what Ty got going on there. He ain't got kidnapped by some aliens over there. And they're giving us their ransom right now. And dolphin click sound. Stop, boy. You sound like you're eating pork rinds or something.
No, we good. Kids in the bed, y'all. We got another video. Actually, I think we got 2 more videos, and we're gonna be going in tonight. So, let me see.
Yeah, the last it's just dessert.
Yeah,
it ain't really. Nothing.
Yeah, that was just a little something, but yeah. So there's lots of evidence. You know, it doesn't mean that life came from America, or that doesn't mean. But what it does is it goes against what a lot of people actually believe, which they had no business believing in a theory. They have evidence to support it, but there's also evidence to go against it. I myself, I'm into the theory stuff. So I got about 4 theories of my own. But guess what? They're theories. I don't go around trying to make people pay me and shit to tell them it. you know what I'm saying? I don't write books on it because it's just a theory. There's lots of things that goes against them, but it's just a theory. You know what I'm saying? I can make up one right now if you want to. Anybody wants out there to make up a dumbass theory? But we finna get into another one. Everybody also make sure y'all check out the Tribe Up news with Bones and Coach. Crew cuts, Bone, McCoy, and Coach crew cuts in the morning. I think they starting at 6 in the morning. So while y'all getting up for school and while y'all getting ready for work or whatever, definitely tune into that, man. It's funny as hell. If you don't have the link, all you should have to do is just go to hashtag Tribe Up in your YouTube, and some of the stuff should pop up. And just click on Tribe Up News. So definitely get your daily news reports on that. Y'all don't forget we got a meeting this Saturday. This is gonna be a flaming meeting, so y'all need to get to this meeting so we can get some stuff together. Shout out to Mr. Thomas for lending us his platform and helping us out. Let me see. Believe me, nothing factual based on untrue. Yep. They believing in it. So you want to get into this next one? Because after this, we going in.
Yep.
Even more. So what's the next one? This is the interview, right?
Okay. This guy right here, Dr. Lovejoy or some shit. Anyway, let's check it out, man. I think dude used to have a show on PBS. And he interviews different thinkers and stuff like that. Well, I think his stuff is like open thinker, open mind thinker. So anyway, shout out to him, man. It's all. I think it's always great, man, to have people that have an open mind. Even if you don't believe in something, as an interviewer, you're supposed to one know about the person you're interviewing, but two, let them get their shit out, man. So yeah, this dude did a great job, man. So shout out to him, man.
Right.
Pick over to the tribe. The truth is in the building. Let's go.
Good afternoon, sir. Let's begin. Can you tell us who you are?
My name is Michael Cremo. I'm the author of the book Forbidden Archaeology.
Which I have to say is a personal favourite of mine. I've read cover to cover several times. So it's a personal great honour to sit down and have a chance to talk to you. How did it come about? What led you into Forbidden Archaeology?
Well, that has to do a lot with the way I was raised. My father was an intelligence officer in the United States Air Force. So that meant a couple of things for me as I was growing up. First of all, it meant I was moving from place to place within the United States and in different countries. And that had the effect of opening my eyes to the reality that there's more than one way of looking at things. The American way is one way, but there are other people with other ways of looking at things. I got exposed to a lot of different cultures as I was growing up. When I was a teenager, I was living in Europe. Once I went to Stockholm on a vacation. I was staying in a youth hostel there, and I met some young people who'd gone overland to India and back, and they were telling me some pretty interesting things about India, so I decided I'd like to do that as well. And gradually I became interested in studying the ancient Sanskrit writings of India. And in those writings I encountered descriptions of human populations existing on Earth millions of years ago. That was something completely different than I'd ever heard from my teachers in high school and university. Mm-hmm. So I began to wonder about these statements in these ancient writings, not just the ancient Sanskrit writings of India, but many different ancient wisdom traditions speak of humans existing a long time ago, much further back in time than current theories would allow. I wondered, are those statements just mythological inventions, or is there perhaps some factual basis for them in science? That's what got me looking into the whole history of archaeology. Of course, when I looked in the current textbooks of archaeology, I didn't see any evidence for extreme human antiquity. I only saw evidence that supported the current theories, namely that humans like us first came into existence less than 200,000 years ago, having evolved from more primitive ape-like human ancestors. But I decided to look beyond the textbooks. I wanted to look at the original scientific reports published in the professional scientific literature. When I started doing that, I began finding many reports of archaeologists finding human bones, human artifacts, human footprints, many millions of years old, much older than the 200,000 years that most scientists now accept for a modern human presence on Earth. So that's what got me looking into this whole topic. So I collected those reports and put them in the book Forbidden Archaeology, and since then I've been pursuing that line of research.
And what would you say is the first anomalous artifact that you encountered personally that really started to cement the theory into something really quite tangible?
Well, I had a suspicion, that such evidence was there. I just thought it might be there. So I had a research assistant, and I asked him to start looking into textbooks of archaeology from the 19th century, not the current textbooks. And I was right. When you go back to those older books, they mention some unusual discoveries that are no longer mentioned in the textbooks today. I think the first one that really caught my attention was the California gold mine discoveries. In the 19th century, gold was discovered in California. Miners went there to get it. They dug tunnels into the sides of mountains. And deep inside those tunnels in the solid rock, the miners were finding human bones and human artifacts, not at just one location, but many different locations in the gold mining region. And these human bones and human artifacts were found in layers of rock that modern geologists tell us are about 50 million years old. So the state geologist of California, Dr. J.D. Whitney, collected all these discoveries and wrote a report about them that was published by Harvard University in the year 1880. And we don't see these things mentioned in the textbooks today, but they were very serious discoveries made by a professional scientist, reported in a scientific publication. And I studied his publication very carefully, and I would notice here and there he would mention in footnotes, and objects of similar age were found in Europe by Dr. Carlos Ribeiro in Portugal. So then I would track down Dr. Ribeiro's report. And these things are not mentioned in the textbooks today. You have to go through quite a bit of research to track these things down.
And how easy did you find it to actually find them?
Well, I had a research assistant who's very good at tracking things down. A lot of this stuff isn't available on the web. Certainly when I started this research in 1984, a lot of this stuff there wasn't even a World Wide Web at that point.
Quite.
And even today, much of this stuff, it's only accessible by tracking it down through libraries, getting out of print documents from archives and things like that. So I tracked down Ribeiro's reports, and he had discovered human artifacts 20 million years old in Portugal and published them in the scientific literature. Of course, it was in Portuguese. Now, because of my educational background, I have a reading knowledge of most of the major European languages.
Wow.
So I'm able to read archaeological reports in Portuguese, French, German, Italian, and so on. So I tracked down his reports, and then in little footnotes he would mention, and this researcher in France, the Abbé Bourgeois, he made discoveries in Miocene formations 20 million years old in France. So then I would go and track those down in the French, and that would lead me to other discoveries. At first, I thought I was going to do about 8 weeks of research, maybe write a short little pamphlet, and then go on to some other topic. But one discovery kept leading to another, so the 8 weeks turned into 8 months, and the 8 months turned into 8 years. By the time 8 years of research, I think I had pretty much covered the field in a general way, at least. And it was at that time that I put out, the book Forbidden Archaeology. So after that 8 years of research, I felt I pretty much covered the field, at least for a first go-over. So it was at that time that I brought out the book Forbidden Archaeology, which was a collection of all of these reports of archaeological evidence for extreme human antiquity.
And what was your intention for it? time, was it simply to bring to public attention, or did you intend to present your work to academics? What was the reaction of the academic world?
Well, I had a lot of different audiences in mind when I was putting this research together. One audience I had in mind was the academic and scientific audience, and then the other audience I had in mind was the general public. So actually, I had a whole strategy in mind. I thought, okay, I'm this book, Forbidden Archaeology, which is very well documented. It's written with an academic audience in mind. So my plan was to send it out for review in the professional academic journals of archaeology and anthropology, knowing that it was going to be quite controversial. And basically, there were three reactions among scientists. Some hated it, some grudgingly admitted that there's some value to what I was doing, and third reaction is silence. So those were the three basic reactions.
So not favorably received then, particularly?
Well, just grudging acknowledgement that there's something to be learned from what I did, I think, is positive in a way. Some just dismissed it. Said, Richard Leakey, for example, said, this is pure bug. Nobody would take it seriously but a fool. But other archaeologists, like archaeologist Tim Murray, wrote in his review of Forbidden Archaeology in British Journal for History of Science that he was sure that there were researchers who would profit by reading this book because it presents in detail so many case studies of archaeological evidence that can be used to analyze the epistemology of archaeology. Epistemology is the science of how do we know things, what do we know, and how do we know it. So I thought that was quite a positive reaction. But the negative reactions were also there. So I had a strategy in mind that then, after the book was released, that 900-page book, Forbidden Archaeology, was released to the scientific community, and they had given their reactions, then I would release a shorter edition of the book, about 300 pages long, called The Hidden History of the Human Race, to the general public. And I would use all the positive and negative statements that had come from the scientific reviews to get some attention from the media. And actually that worked. I got many radio and television interviews, and because the book just attracted the attention of people in the media, especially the negative statements. They'd never seen anybody put the negative reviews on their book, as well as the positive ones. So then that shorter edition of the book was translated into about 20 different languages: French, Italian, Spanish, Russian, Bulgarian, Hungarian, Japanese, about 20 different languages. And I got invitations from all over the world to do author tours in these different countries, and I was able to communicate with the general public through newspapers, radio, television, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I did have a plan in mind when I was writing the book. I wanted it to influence the scientific world, and I also wanted it to influence the general public. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I think our concept of who we are and where we come from affects our lives, the world, in a major way.
Absolutely.
How we define our identity will determine what kinds of goals that we set for ourselves, what types of values we adopt. So the questions, who am I, where did I come from, are very important. Now, for the past century or so, the supporters of the current theories of human origins have had a government-enforced monopoly in the education systems in most countries, and therefore they've been able to dictate the answers to these very important questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? Well, you're an evolved ape. You're a machine made of molecules. In other words, they give very, very materialistic answers to these fundamental questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? As a famous English scientist says, Richard Dawkins, as he says, we are survival machines. We are robot vehicles blindly programmed to preserve the selfish molecules known as genes. That's what you are. You're a machine. You're a selfish machine made of molecules in competition with other machines made of molecules to control material resources and things like that. I think those kinds of answers to the questions, who am I and where did I come from, are at the root of a lot of the problems that our world faces today. I think attitudes like that are at the root of our environmental crisis, the main cause of which is overproduction and overconsumption of more and more material things.
Indeed.
I think such answers as are given by modern science are also at the root of our financial crisis.
But it is chasing an intrinsically materialistic paradigm, isn't it?
Right.
The pursuit of ever greater growth and ever greater profit.
Right. And some people, and you're in competition with everyone else in the financial system, so if you can take unfair advantage of others in that whole process, why not? It's dog eat dog, survival of the fittest. And some people do, and therefore, they game the system in ways that are putting others in a very bad position.
So would you say that then that your work has been contributory to challenging that control paradigm?
Yes, absolutely. I'm suggesting another answer to these fundamental questions, who am I, where did I come from? After people read my book, Forbidden Archaeology, which contains archaeological evidence that contradicts the current theories of human origins and identity, they asked, okay, you have all this evidence, archaeological evidence, that contradicts the theory that we evolved by some blind evolutionary process from primitive apes and monkeys. So, after people read my book, Forbidden Archaeology, they asked me a question. They said, you've got all this archaeological evidence that contradicts the current theories of human origins. So if you don't think that we evolved from primitive apes and monkeys, then where do you think we came from? So to answer that question, I wrote a book called Human Devolution, in which I present an alternative to the current theories of human origins. It's a consciousness-based alternative. I propose that before we even ask the question, where did human beings come from, we should first of all ask the question, what is a human being? And many scientists today are going to give a very materialistic answer to that question. They'll simply say, well, we're machines made of molecules, and as far as consciousness is concerned, if you organize the molecules in the brain in a sufficiently complex way, they'll generate consciousness, but only temporarily and only in association with the brain. And when, at the time of death, the molecules in the brain become disorganized, there's no more consciousness, nothing like that. So it's a very matter-based picture of reality. But I'm proposing something quite different. I'm proposing that consciousness can exist independent of matter.
Yeah.
Matter does not produce consciousness, but consciousness can become associated with matter. I'm proposing that originally we are beings of pure consciousness, and under certain states of consciousness, consciousness can become associated with matter. That's what I call devolution. As conscious beings, we don't evolve up from matter, as most scientists now believe, rather we devolve. I'm proposing that originally we are beings of pure consciousness, and under certain states of consciousness, consciousness can become associated with matter. That's what I call devolution. As conscious beings, we don't evolve up from matter, as most scientists now believe, rather we devolve or come down from pure consciousness. And the real purpose of human life is not to try to dominate, control, and exploit matter to the maximum extent possible, but is instead to restore consciousness to its original pure state. So if we have that understanding, I am a being of pure consciousness, then we'll try to satisfy our material necessities in the most simple, natural, and efficient way possible. And that'll be good for the environment. Also, if we have this understanding that I'm a being of pure consciousness, all others are beings of pure consciousness, we're all related to each other on that level of pure consciousness, then we won't be dividing ourselves into competing groups as under the current theory, which tells us we're machines made of matter in competition with each other for survival.
The illusion of separation, in fact.
Yes. We'll be finding ways to cooperate with each other and understand each other. So I think these questions, who am I, where did I come from, are very important. They're not just some questions for a few scientists and philosophers to argue about in their ivory towers. They affect the lives of each of us.
Let me ask you just for a second about how the gifted amateur, if you like, as opposed to the career academic or the career scientist, contributes to the sum total of human knowledge. And by that I mean, when we venture out and start asking questions and look empirically for the answers to those questions, how much more valid or how much more latitude does the amateur have not having their paycheck funded by an academy that insists on maintaining that paradigm?
Well, we have to consider, for example, Charles Darwin even. You know, he wasn't a professional scientist. He was a gentleman scholar, and he had some impact. Of course, after his time, the sciences did become more and more professionalized. Darwin wasn't working for a paycheck. You know, he was an English gentleman. He had his source of income, and he did his scientific work out of love for it. So after his time, it became more a matter of getting a paycheck. And when you have a system that's based totally on that, then it becomes a matter of doing what you need to do in order to have a position, have a paycheck. Now, one problem with science as it is today, it's just become very monolithic. In other words, science has become identified with one particular metaphysical outlook, the materialistic, reductionistic outlook. And no other outlooks are tolerated within science. So those who are exploring these alternative worldviews in terms of science have to do it outside, the professional circles. Now, one thing that could change that is if science would accept metaphysical pluralism. Actually, at the time of Darwin, European science did have metaphysical pluralism. There were scientists working according to different worldviews and understandings. There were scientists like Richard Owen, for example, who was a contemporary of Darwin. He was trying to understand biology in terms of a Platonic metaphysics. He had an idea there were Platonic forms of animals that existed on some higher level of reality that were being reflected into the world of matter. There were...
Which, of course, is not so very far from quantum theory.
No.
As we would view it today.
And then there were other scientists who were operating according to a Judeo-Christian metaphysics. They were promoting a doctrine called special creation, the idea that God in the beginning created each separate species. And that was actually the mainstream in the universities at that time that Darwin was reacting against as an outsider.
And yet, of course, ironically, Darwin himself was a passionate Christian, which has always struck me as somewhat ironic.
Yeah. There were other scientists in Europe and Germany. They were called Naturphilosophs. They were operating according to the idea there are subtle, vital principles in living things that explain the forms that they take. Then Darwin, he was operating according to a more strictly mechanistic and materialistic metaphysics, trying to explain how everything could be accounted for by random variations that were acted upon by natural selection. So at that time, science in the West, in Europe, was functioning with different scientists operating according to different metaphysical outlooks. So today, that's no longer true. There's a kind of a dictatorship now of the materialist, and they enforce it very strictly in the scientific world and in the education systems. And I think that's something that needs to be broken. We shouldn't allow one group of scientists to hijack the whole system and get a monopoly in the education system and in the scientific institutions. Normally, in countries that regard themselves as free and democratic, we don't tolerate, say, the government saying you can only belong to one political party, or you can only read one newspaper, or only belong to one church or religion, or only watch one television station. Normally we don't tolerate that, but at the present moment, many governments are saying you can only learn one type of science, materialistic, reductionistic science. And this is true even though there are scientists who are proposing different alternatives based on different metaphysical worldviews. For example, there's, here in England, Rupert Sheldrake, who talks about morphogenetic fields. It's a Platonic or Aristotelian idea. I'm talking about consciousness existing separately from matter. That's not a very popular idea today in science. So what I say is there should be metaphysical pluralism in science in the education system. In the textbooks, it should be stated, for example, okay, most scientists now accept, the Darwinian theory of human evolution, which is based on a strictly materialist metaphysics, but there are other scientists and researchers who are proposing other ideas, and here's what they are, and then just let students make up their own minds.
Which I would agree wholeheartedly with that. The concept of encouraging independent thought is only to be applauded. We're here at the annual Megalithomania conference in Glastonbury, in the heart of ancient Avalon, and I wanted to touch just a little bit on some of the fundamentals of what brings me here, and indeed many of the people who come to this. And one of the prime questions of that is, what were the ancients up to? What were they doing? And if we look, for instance, I mean, iconically speaking, Stonehenge is probably the single most potent image globally of Neolithic, indeed prehistoric culture in Europe, shall we say. I'll come to when in a moment. Why do you think it was built?
Well, I'm going to say that the Neolithic is not my main period of research. Alternative history is a big topic. Some researchers specialize in, say, Egyptian types of questions. Others look at megaliths from the Neolithic period. I look at extreme human antiquity. That's my main topic. However, I am interested in these other aspects of archaeology, but I'll have to say that I'm approaching them as a lay person. In other words, my main field of research isn't Stonehenge. I'm going to visit it today, taking part in a tour that's part of the Megalithomania event, and I'm expecting to learn some things about Stonehenge. From what I can understand, from my layman's point of view, is that Stonehenge is set up in such a way that there are alignments to different astronomical events, solstice points, equinox points, alignments to certain celestial bodies. So I think that is one aspect of it, that the ancients were very much aware that our Earth has many subtle connections with the celestial bodies that are visible in the sky. And it is not something I can directly, prove about the people that made Stonehenge, but it's something that to me seems intuitively very likely, is they understood that as conscious beings we are influenced by celestial events, and that we may even have connections with other conscious beings who inhabit, these celestial regions. They may even be a destination for us. So I think they were aware of all these things. It's not something that I can definitely prove, but to me it's something that seems very likely. So I've read some interesting studies lately about the sonic properties of Stonehenge.
Archaeoacoustics.
Yes,
I believe. Yeah.
Archaeoacoustics. And it's not always easy to do experiments right there at Stonehenge, but some scientists have pointed out that in the United States, in Washington State, there's a park where some group has put up an exact replica of the complete Stonehenge as it would have looked when it was originally constructed. And they've been able to do these archaeosonic experiments there. And they're pretty amazing. I think there is, among ancient people, there was a great deal of attention given to sound vibration, the power of sound vibration.
Absolutely. But Paul Devereux has done a lot of good work in this area, and I'm reminded, I spent some time myself a few years ago in the Yucatan, Chichen Itza. Shows remarkable acoustic properties in that you can speak across what they call the ball court and whisper from one structure to another and hear as though somebody's speaking right in your ear. So absolutely, yes, I think the ancients did have a far more developed understanding of acoustics than we give them credit for, certainly.
Right. So, as I said, those are some things that as a layman I've come to understand about, Stonehenge, and I'm looking to increase the depth of my knowledge by visiting there today and hearing some of the things that are going to be presented here at the Megalithomania 2012.
I want to round up a little bit now, but just talking about some of the other ancient sites and come very much to the when we look at sites like Stonehenge, like Giza, obviously, like Tiwanaku in Bolivia, like the Chinese pyramids, the Great White Pyramid, Uxmal in the Yucatan. Do you think that we are seeing the legacy of different and independent cultures, or do you see traces of a unified parent culture?
Well, I think both things can be there. There can be separate cultures with their own particular roots, but there can also be communication among them. We see it today that maybe in a certain country a technology is invented, then it spreads to other countries, other people. It's something that we observe today, and I think in the past this was also true. I don't think these cultures were always, in all cases, isolated from the other cultures that were existing contemporaneously in the world. It looks like there were signs of communication among them. You can see many parallels in their cosmologies and their architecture. For example, the prevalence of pyramid-like structures in different parts of the world, Egypt, China, South America, the Indochina Peninsula. They have very similar structures. And they also have similar cosmologies. In my book, Human Devolution, I did a cross-cultural study of cosmologies. I selected about 30 world cultures widely separated in time and space. And I saw they all had common features. For example, they had the idea that we exist in a multi-level cosmos and that the different levels are inhabited by different types of beings, perhaps of a more subtle nature than exist on our terrestrial level. That was a very common idea among all of them. They also had the idea that there's something more to a human being than matter, that there is some human essence, you could call it a soul, that can exist apart from matter. There's a subtle mental body with unusual powers. Some might call them paranormal powers, like extrasensory perception, mystic powers, yogic powers, things of that sort. These are common features of all of these different cultures. And I think there may be a couple of different reasons for the similarities. One is that they were in contact with each other on the terrestrial level. That's one possibility, and I think there's some evidence for that. But another possibility is that these cultures in their different locations were all accessing the same higher reality, from their specific positions. But because they're accessing the same reality, then their cosmologies are going to have similarities. It's as if, say, you have some people looking at a mountain from different angles of vision, some looking from the north, some from the south, the east, the west. Their descriptions of the mountain are going to be a little bit different because they're looking at it from different angles, but it's still going to be obvious that they're talking about the same thing. So I think that can be a primary cause of the similarities in these different cultures that they're all accessing from their different geographical locations, the same higher reality.
Michael Cremo, thank you very much. Emma Cup.
Yeah, what's up? What's up? A word from my sponsor, Matrix 4 in stores now. You can go to truthaboutmatrix.com. You can pick it up on Amazon from the Oracle, Sophia Stewart, the Matrix 4, the evolution of consciousness, Matrix 4, cracking the genetic code. Let's get it in. Whoa. So, one thing I do gotta say about that interview is that he was talking about consciousness. And that's something I kind of talk about. I never saw that before. And when it comes to the evolution theory and when it comes to this modern day science, they stick to their lane. And when you're dealing with the consciousness, when you're dealing with the soul, when you're dealing with the code, they don't tell that story. They don't have an answer. And what he just said is that they go off physical objects. And I never thought about that, but now that I heard that, I can put that into my thoughts, and now it even makes more sense to me why they the things that they say. It makes more sense now because they're not thinking like I'm thinking. They're not thinking how we're thinking. They're not thinking about the evolution of consciousness. They're not thinking about our eternal code. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about an actual bone, and how did this bone get to look like this bone? And how did this bone get to look like this bone? They ain't even touch consciousness or touch, the mind. That's usually what I call it. But when I heard him say consciousness, I was like, damn, that's the same thing I be saying. But he called it consciousness. I just call it the mind. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Chief, you saw this before? I'm guessing you saw this before. Cody, you sent it to me. I'm guessing. Did you know that some of the stuff I be talking about? Or did it never click to you?
I mean, a lot of it is it's Eastern philosophy. So you have an Eastern philosophy mindset too. So I see that.
I never knew that. I never knew that. That's what it's called. Oh, I never knew that about myself. But I guess I see a little, but and you think that's what he got it from?
Well, he told you when he was a teenager how he got exposed to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that interview was important. You know what I'm saying? They break that down. He also broke down just the scientific community how fucked up they are and things of nature, and them suppressing stuff. And he also broke down, things that they were doing prior to this becoming mainstream science. You know what I'm saying? But I say this all the time, though. This is the source of their power. They use this science around the world. Oh, hey, you was a monkey before us. You're between us and the monkey. You know that, right? So guess what? Okay. All right. Y'all know that's what they taught, man. So they get somewhere, whatever, and tell the people who growing shit, doing things, been building forever, metallurgy, all type of stuff, right? But they savages. What? Where? You can't even build these things that they built. They ain't came over here. Well, I take that back. They built a couple pyramids. Sheldon Adelson, yeah, they did. They got
Nigga said Sheldon Adelson. I don't know where that came from, but yeah.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I know who he is. I heard of him. I don't know like all his information, but I heard of him. He like a oil tycoon, some old ass pervert, like a wheelchair, some shit. And he like 90 years old, like 99 years old or some shit. That you talking about? Huh?
That nigga is 200. He up there.
That motherfucker like, yeah.
He was around Moses now. He was BC. Sheesh.
Hell no, he said motherfucking what's the guy name used to marry the Nicole lady? I think she died, and her son died, and like her daughter died or some shit. You know what I'm talking about? Nicole. I don't know.
And Nicole Smith.
Yeah. What was her husband name?
Oh.
She married like an old ass pervert, like 90 years old. This motherfucker's like 90. She was like 25 or some shit. I don't know. They know who I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty interesting, man, because he broke it down. But I think I saw him throw up a Mason sign though, man. I think he Illuminati, man.
There you go. It could be though.
That's how they work.
Could be.
You already know. That's what they looking for. That's how they work. They looking for
it's called controlled opposition.
Mm-hmm.
They could control the information, even the opposing information, if they fund it. But he talks about that though. He talks about not, them funding certain things or whatever, and that takes away from the integrity of the actual studies and scientific things that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? There's an agenda out there to hide the truth.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't. Who's gonna argue that? Nobody from the HOK is gonna argue that. No squad's gonna argue that. No team's gonna argue that. None of y'all will argue that. Y'all know that they're hiding stuff. That's just period.
Right. But
so if we all understand, we all can have a consensus on that, then we shouldn't be arguing over it all the time. We arguing over dumb shit and not getting nothing done. So I think that's a problem for me. If we're gonna argue over the same thing, or you ain't did no research when you came up in this bitch. So if I tell you maroon is brown and you still talking about runaway slaves, I don't know what to tell you. That means you haven't done any research.
Somebody.
Shit.
But yeah, man, you got some more stuff for him, man. That was kind of deep, because he was talking about that. He was talking about comparing these scientists and how they do their research. Like they don't talk about the unknown. Like the unknown is just like unknown. Like it can't be counted for. So we just dumbass creatures who just like, we got a Ninja Turtle origins and shit. Like we just happened to be like on the side of the road when the ooze came down and shit. And, like that's what the fuck they said. That's gonna be the new theory. I got a turtle ooze theory. We was fairies.
Ninja Turtle.
we was fairies and shit, and some space dust, came down and got some water, and we drunk the water, and we grew a consciousness and started walking and shit. Like this damn near what they say. I can find some shit to support it. I'll go find a motherfucking ant. I'll go find a mosquito. That's what you was first. I morphed the ant to the mosquito on the computer. And then I take a motherfucking frog or some shit. A frog ate it. And then the frog got infected with it and had our consciousness. And then a fucking a big ass I don't know, a beaver ate the frog and got infected with our consciousness. And then a lion ate the beaver, and some kind of way a monkey ate the lion, and it came into us and got affected with our consciousness, and our consciousness was just getting passed around, and it got to us. There you go. There's a new theory for you right there. I just supported it. That's my claim. I backed that up with 32 archaeologists, and it's backed up by Michael Cremo and Chief Holiday. We good.
But I mean, though, how hard? I mean, what more can we say, man? Like,
yeah,
he did a great job in that.
Yeah, he broke it down. He broke it down.
Broke it down, didn't he?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't talk about why none of these motherfuckers talk about math either. Or maybe it's just the ones in this community that don't talk about math. I don't know, but that's another thing that fucks up the theory is math. But like I say, it's different from hearing it from the professional. Now, I've been talking about this shit for the last 2 years or the last couple months or whatever. And now here we go, a fucking professional damn near said the same thing I've been saying. I mean, it sounds different now. I mean, he put it in a different way, but it's the same shit I've been saying. And it's not mine. I didn't make it up. I don't know how the fuck I got it. I just thought it up, I guess.
You know what my problem is, though? That he's attached to the unknown and unseen and his belief system, which would be his religious system, and for his whole psychological system. It has to go along with that narrative. So he's affected by that also, and I think that has a lot to do with the way he sees things also. You know what I'm saying? So we have to keep that in consideration. We shouldn't take that as
well.
You gotta take that in.
Well, because only we know it. Like we can't really prove it. Why is it stuck on me? Let me see. We can't really prove it, but we just know it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you the only person in your head. So
when you start talking about the belief system, then as a scientist, we gotta be objective to everything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that one, y'all.
What you mean, the belief system?
Dude brings his belief system, the Krishna and all that stuff. He brings that belief system into his research, and most of us do. We bring that stuff in.
So what did he believe?
He's a Hindu, brother.
I know. What is they believe, like 8 ghosts with like 8 arms or some shit like that or something?
I'm sure that's one of them, but they believe in cycles of 4 billion years, something like that. Every 4 billion years just recycles.
But that was in his theory. That wasn't his claim. Like, he don't claim that as fact. You know what I'm saying? It was just his theory. and he called it, he called it, but he was just basically saying what they don't do, and then he was saying, kind of, in his own little perspective, dealing with consciousness, it would be a better angle to teach and to learn from. Because if I know you got conscious and I got conscious, our race doesn't mean anything. Like races don't mean anything when you're dealing with consciousness. And so it looked like, so he was speaking on that aspect, but his beliefs, because I got my own beliefs, and I'm pretty sure you do too, but that's not gonna stop you from finding a person and shit and deep down in the jungle next to a pyramid. You see what I'm saying? So his personal beliefs, which we all have, I don't know anybody that don't have any. That's part of your personal theory. But at the end of the day, it's a theory. Because I have about 4 of them that makes good sense to me. But I'm pretty sure if you put them through the microscope, I'm pretty sure you can probably pick them all apart if you wanted to. But that's why it's called a theory. You see what I'm saying? It's not meant for everybody in the world to believe what I believe. It'll be weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, how could, I don't know. But we also want to say, because we got a lot of Mexican brothers and sisters out there, and from Central and South America, and those are brothers and sisters as well. And it's the experience that we have and the information that we have, sometimes it's not all science based. Sometimes it's cultural based. Sometimes it's eternal, and sometimes it's even spiritual. So it's very hard for some people to understand that. And I'm gonna break that down. If Chief wanna go in for a second, I can break that down a little more to help people understand why we can claim Naya for hours if we wanted to. We could claim Lucia if we wanted to. Because of our existence and who we are and experience that we go through, and anybody pretty much that can put themselves in our shoes, we pretty much label them a brother or a sister, and that's just culturally, any person that carries our melanin and has the relationship with the sun as us, we have the right to claim them as ours because they share the same experience as us. So far as the genetic and what that says, that doesn't play a factor in your experience in life. So if Lucia or Naya was a melanated woman, what attaches her to us is her experience and her connection with the sun. And also, if she was alive today, her life would be similar to our life, or she will be experiencing, some of the same things that we go to. So to feel attachment to her, whether you could say she was from Australia, you could say she an African that jumped over here. whatever you want to say, it doesn't negate the fact that she shared the same relationship with the son as we do. And because of that, you know, in some sense, we have all rights to claim her, whether she evolved into a mixed person or she evolved into whatever. She was fully melanated, just like I'm fully melanated, just like Chief fully melanated. When we go outside, we have a certain relationship that nobody else has. I mean, me myself, I have bad hands. I have a bad right hand because I got my hands crushed with some I-beams at one of my jobs a long time ago when I was galvanizing some big ass I-beams, and the chain, I was jiggling the chain a little bit and my hand was in there, and at my hand, the tip of my hands, my fingertips got smashed. And because of this, my hands are very sensitive, and sometimes the tip of them, I can't even feel them. They're numb as hell. And so, especially during the wintertime, they get a lot more number, and they just feel like, sometimes they feel like dead fingers because at the tip. But I noticed in the summertime, when the sun is out more, I notice my hand gets stronger. I get like this. I can feel them. I can feel the tip of them in my hand actually get stronger. And so I began to try to, work that with, other parts of my body and stuff like that. So I know my relationship with the sun. My hair texture and our hair texture, it also has a relationship with the sun. You can call it what you want, and you can call it whatever relationship you want, but we have one, and we know this. And any other person, whether they're African or whether they Australian or whatever the hell, if they share this relationship with that sun that I share, I have no problem with saying that's my brother or that's my ancestor, and accepting them, just like everybody, just like everybody else. So if Luzia Naya was walking around here, black as hell like me, got the same hair like me, and got the same relationship as the sun like me, regardless of where she come from, regardless of what her DNA say, because it don't matter if she had donkey DNA. If she shares the same relationship as that sun up there that I do, I have every right to claim her, because we are the only people that shares that relationship with the sun. Now, I'm not sure how it affects the Indians from the native side. I'm not sure how well. I got an idea of what it does to pale faces. I know it burns them. Far as mixed people, I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure some of them can get burned, and some of them just get darker, whatever the case it may be. But anybody that shares that relationship as I share it, don't tell me I don't have the right to claim them. Don't tell me I don't have a right to call them my brother or my sister. And that also goes for Naya and Luzia. And if you want to get picky, we'll go to Cheddar Man too. And the rest of them old ass people, no matter where they at around the country, if that sun treats them the same way it treats me, that's me. So, so we don't mean to disrespect nobody's culture. We don't need to disrespect nobody's ancestors. But if we share ancestors and that bothers you, then that's on you. Because if some random guy or some, Native American or some Mexican says, I claim Naya too, that's not gonna bother me, not one bit. I'm not gonna be like, oh no, y'all is conspiracy theorists and want to fight and shit. I'm gonna be like, okay, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Well, shit, join the elite and let's get the moving then. That's just me personally. But I don't know how Chief feel. Chief, how you feel about Native people or Mexicans claiming Nayars as their ancestors? What you think about that? Or Lucia? You gone? Did I rock you? I rocked Chief to sleep, y'all. Chief probably at a grocery store or some shit. In Las Vegas, they got roller coasters and shit at night and some shit like that. But let me see. We got Carl Victoria State in the building. Let me see who else in the building. Who else we got in the building? Yeah. Just let me see. Those that discredit Michael Cremo many years of work, didn't write one book or subject. Oh, okay. So you saying the people? So you know about them. So the people who was discrediting them, these are people that ain't got no books or they ain't did no research. They just, But see, I don't know what to discredit him about because I don't know him as making a claim. So what it is to discredit? I mean, if he would have made some claims, he talked about what he believed in, and that's personal, man. That has nothing to do with shit. That's personal. Like, he's not. I don't think is he going around trying to make people believe what he could believe? Is he going around trying to convert people to Hinduism and I'm gonna take your head off and y'all niggas is hoes and they got all kinds of names for us and sellouts and we hate ourselves and is he going around doing that type of shit? Like, nigga, just Hindu or not, nigga, just Hindu or die, nigga. This Hinduism every day, all day to the day I die. I'm creeping through your sack with a mini Mac. Is he on that type of shit? Like, what the fuck? Or is that some shit he believed? So, Chief, do he got claims out there that people? Carl Victoria said he don't. So what is it to discredit? If he found some shit, he found some shit. Hey, if y'all motherfuckers found the tooth, y'all found the tooth, right? So if he found the tooth, he found the tooth. Like, I don't know. But yeah, he went in and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse for these people pushing this shit around like they know 100%. Like the shit ain't a theory. Like they ain't like we can't sit here and say they ain't nothing that don't make sense. We can't sit here and say like, you got a point. But at the end of the day, we know, yeah, that's someone's theory who they pose on all the world. How would you like if I say, well, nigga, this Hindu wisdom all day? If motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, try to make you and force you. That's what I talk about. It's damn near religion. Cause it's like you either believe in it or you hate yourself or you know what I'm saying? That's like when people leave a cult and shit. They talk about you, discredit him, his work. Yeah, but how they gonna discredit him if he ain't got no claims? Oh, because he was saying it was the oldest world. Okay, well, instead of discrediting him, why don't you prove him wrong? That should be easy as hell to do. You mean to tell me America is the old world? That should be so easy to debunk from a hardcore scientist or anthropologist or some shit. They'll be like, okay, well, what about this? And they go in the refrigerator and pull out a fucking tongsu from a motherfucking Tyrannosaurus Rex found in Africa or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't. Right. So, yeah. But this is the thing, though, is that, you know, to have a theory, you know what I'm saying, neither from America or Africa have enough evidence. But so it can go either or. And so what you believe is what you believe at the end of the day. What you feel, that's at the end of the day. That's pretty much what it boiled down to, because it's evidence on both sides. Oh, okay. Well, then, you see, that's the problem right there. He said Garfield have an anthropologist team, a DNA team, and a lab team. That's the problem right there. That is the problem. That is really textbook. You see, that doesn't deal with the mind. Neither one of those deal with the mind. It's all dealing with something physical, like the guy said. It's dealing with something physical. Chief, where you at, man? Where you at, man? I'm finna. Chief outside on the grill or some shit. In Las Vegas. Vegas ain't got no song, man. They ain't got no rap song for Vegas. No. I mean, even North Carolina raise their hand, throw their shirt like a helicopter or some shit, right? Let me see. Yeah, that's the problem right there, man. You get filled up in one field, right? Let's say, for example, you're an anthropologist and you get filled up and all that, and you know everything about that. And all that says is, basically, when you say you're an anthropologist or whatever, when you put a label on yourself, all you doing is telling me what the fuck you don't know. So these guys don't know that when they call themselves, oh yeah, I'm a scholar and I do this and I do that. Every time you tell me what you do know, you're actually telling me what you don't know. A lot of people don't know that. So if I'm a anthropologist, then what that's telling you? What that's telling you I don't know. You know? Yeah. If I'm an airplane pilot, it's telling you I don't know. At least it's telling you I don't know how to drive a train. You know? So you gotta open it up. Oh, somebody said Vegas suck. I'm in Vegas. They got you trapped. Are you trapped there? You feel trapped? Simone Bay. You said we trapped in Vegas. You talking about the motherfucker that fix credit, man? Credit repair. Credit repair atheist, man, and some shit. Yeah. He said Vegas suck, man. You trapped in Vegas, man. You need some water. We gonna go down there and make y'all a lake. We gonna make y'all an Aboriginal lake down there, man. Get y'all some of that lake from some of that water over there from Oregon or some shit. No, not Oregon. What the hell I'm thinking? Man, what the hell is even over there? Like what's that even by? Oh, Utah. Ain't it? Ain't that bad? Like, no, that's some shit over there. Yeah, some shit. But yeah, you know, Trapping in Vegas sound like a movie. Trapped in Vegas. That do sound like a movie. Yeah, that do. Is it a movie? You know what? That might be a movie. That might be a movie. That do sound like a movie. Like the Hangover. The Hangover series, man. Oh, somebody said Vegas got plenty of water compared to who? Well, how is that possible? There's no possible way they can have more water than California. California is on a ocean, man. That's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Maybe we seeing something different. But all they got the water back in California. But I think I know what you trying to say. Like, they drinking water? I don't know. But they better figure out a way to convert it. Yeah, but you didn't say that, though. You didn't say that. You just said water. So, so fresh water. Okay. Fresh water. They gotta let you. Okay, yeah, Vegas, man. Y'all can't y'all drive? Don't y'all got drive-through marriages and shit, man? Motherfuckers. I mean, people pull up the car. Hey, this is my wife for the night. Hit that paperwork. I mean, like, what's the thoughts behind that, man? Who came up with that? Say, hey, man, you know what? We should get a drive-through marriage where people could go to Vegas and they could get married and remember it. $65.95. Get married in your car. Oh, Sierra Mountains, okay. It floods there. In Vegas floods? This spent to Vegas as a connection to the ocean. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, Vegas on the ocean. Chief, where you at, man? Clear the chlorine from the sink. Boy, my water. Oh, okay, so they got bad water. Yeah, everybody got bad water. Welcome to the club. But it just so happened y'all got a short supply. But I mean, did they find gold in Vegas or oil in Vegas? I mean, like what the hell made a person say, let's go out there? Oh, perverts. I bet you it was a band of perverts. Was like, yeah, we can build the city away from the city and shit. Copper Chata in the building. What's up? What's up? So how'd y'all like the Michael Cremo? So for all the people out there who want to go in the comment box and want to talk all this, man, that's the guy y'all should be going after right here. This the guy y'all should be trolling. Troll his page. Tell him what he did wrong. Tell him what he said wrong. Tell him why he dumb. Mining the cat. Oh, okay. Cattle. Oh, okay. Well, what the cattle eat? Don't the cattle got to drink? I guess they got some. He said they got more fresh water than California. Well, California's so damn big though. I think you could fit Vegas in California like 1, 2, like 1.5 times. I mean, yeah, 1.5. I think you if you tear Vegas apart and do the strips, you know what I'm saying? You get 1, 2, you can get 1.5 in there strips, maybe even 4 up in Cali. But it's all good though. But what y'all think, man? Michael Cremo, did he go in? Chief gone, man. So I guess we gonna go ahead and just wrap it up for the night. I got some work to do at 1 o'clock. And actually I'm gonna try to do it right now. And let somebody, oh yeah, y'all wanna do an open panel? Yeah, let's get on the panel for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody know this has been brought to you by the evolution of consciousness. Understand. Evolution of consciousness. Matrix 4. Cracking the genetic code. She should have took that genetic out and just put code, cracking the code. But a little more mysterious. Yeah. You know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat room. Somebody can come on here, man, cause oh shit, what the hell is that? How they gonna block me from putting the hangout in there? Hold on, what's this? Hold on 1 second. Man, this thing is... Are we offline? Oh no, I got kicked out. My data dogs. I'm in another room. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on 1 second. I'm coming right back. I got kicked out. So yeah, y'all can go ahead and subscribe, man. Make yourself at home, man. I appreciate everybody for taking that red pill. Man, the amount of shit we're gonna get accomplished and the amount of stuff we're gonna be doing is ridiculous. Okay, I'm back. There we go. So we can get some people up in here, man. Probably for a couple hours or so, maybe an hour or two, and then we can call it a night. So that's the hangout. I'm gonna put in the back chat. Anybody want to come through? Bow. So I got you in the back chat. Somebody said Dr. Omar Johnson at it again. Hell no. Yeah, y'all. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and head out then. I think Chief gone. Oh, you know what? We got one more video. Stay tuned. Come back. We got one more video. This video right here is about the mounds in America. They say Native American Indian burial grounds. So let's go ahead and check this one out. I think this is about 6 minutes. So let's go ahead and check this one out. We're gonna get into this one. This is some more Chief stuff. I don't know what was the deal, but let's go ahead and check this out. And we can wrap it up when we get back. Link is in there. Everybody know the drill. Let's go. This has been sponsored by the Matrix 4, the evolution of consciousness. This has been sponsored cracking the genetic code. This is your boy Ty Data, and I'm out. Thank you.